The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. What is it? We don't know. The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. Here we go, it's the Gun Shop Show.
Welcome to the Gun Shop Show. I'm your host, Logan Jones, the one and the only.
With that sultry sounds of Logan Jones.
Eli wasn't able to join us today because, once again, he's doing some of that Eli stuff. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Eli stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And all that entails.
What was he doing?
Eli stuff.
Oh.
Always is.
Eli.
And those voices you hear are my co-hosts. And they're wonderful.
Wonderful.
And I can't keep this up for too long.
Yeah, it's getting creepy now.
It is.
Real breathy in here.
Those voices you're hearing are one is coming from our creative director, the man behind the screens that pushes all the buttons and does the stuff. That is Trevor Smith. Trevor, how are we doing today?
I'm doing excellent,
That's great.
man.
Anyway,
Yeah.
next person. We also have, again, returning on the show because he's just so cool.
And he's also a...
That's our man, Alan Snow, coming in fabulously, as always.
Looking incredible.
Looking absolutely choice.
But don't forget about yours truly. Excellence.
I feel like we need to do another one of those.
Yeah. Well,
Different.
you know what I've noticed? I don't see your receding hairline nearly as much now. Did you get some plugs? You plug it up?
Yeah, I did. They pulled it from the back here. And they just put it right up here.
Well, that's where you want to pull it from. Now,
So,
do you think if
back there?
if they pull it from the back and put it in the front, that it regrows in the back? You think it comes back in?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Sure.
Hey,
Sure.
if you've ever had plugs,
His hairstyle now is a reverse mullet.
yeah, the party in the front. No, wait, is it
Short in the back.
Yeah, business in the back, party in the front. I like that.
Yeah.
So what?
But-
Yeah.
But that's what it is.
It's
Independence
Potato-
Day
oh,
weekend.
Independence weekend. That's right.
4th of July is coming up. That's tomorrow.
Oh, that's
you
what
guys
I
got.
hear.
You guys got big plans?
Not really.
Big plans, Alan?
Oh, yeah. I've got to shoot off some fireworks and, see how many bottle rockets I can shoot.
You gonna fire up that
See how-
non-Weber grill?
Non-Weber.
Probably so.
That sounds like an
Probably so.
attack.
Well, I'll be firing up my Weber brand grill. This sentence brought to you by a Weber.
We're not sponsored by Weber, and I'm not
Not
sure
yet,
why he's-
Weber. Not yet. Not yet, Weber.
Weber, the
Looking at
official
you.
sponsor of
Trevor's intestines. So bad.
Whatever.
Sorry,
So
everybody.
if you're joining us, I want to thank you for joining us on Independence Day weekend. It's going to be a pretty good show. I have big plans.
Yeah.
After this, gonna go do some washers at our.
Ooh,
we
you-
have a kind of a family washer tournament that we do every 4th of July.
Yeah.
I don't want to brag, but won 3 times in a row.
Wow, dude. So what do you guys like? Do the whites? Do the whites
What is whites?
or the colors? What are you doing? What are you washing?
Yeah, it's not the same kind of washers.
Oh.
So imagine cornhole, but instead you have 5 holes, and you
Like
have
Beavis and Butthead
like
cornhole.
washers like this. They're about that.
Oh, that
big.
makes better sense.
And you throw into the holes, you get points.
Yeah.
Me and my padre have won 3 years running currently.
I didn't know you spoke Spanish.
Only on the weekends.
That's on Domingo and Sabado. Just those days.
But so I'm gonna have fun with that. Maybe do a little bit of shooting. Got some tannerite.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna blow stuff up, huh?
There's a couple things,
4th of July.
Yeah,
Blow
exactly.
stuff up.
Fireworks, tannerite. Just have a good time.
Have you bought any fireworks lately?
Me?
Yeah.
Actually, no. I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't either.
No, I just rely on everyone else to buy fireworks, and I just enjoy them.
Sorry, go ahead, Alan.
I was just looking for a mentally unstable Logan fireworks stand.
Oh
you know?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
There's a lot of crazy people that sell fireworks.
This is Crazy Debbie. What's
Yeah.
what's another one?
It's weird that that's the thing.
Crazy Charlie.
Psycho Pete's.
Yeah.
Yeah, mentally unstable. Logan's firearms stand.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm struggling here. We need some synonyms, guys.
Synonyms are difficult.
Not when you got the internet.
Or we can just move on and talk about what we're going to talk about on the show.
We could, but I want to find some synonyms of crazy. Insane. There you go.
Insane in the membrane.
Yeah, Insane Dave's
No brain.
fireworks.
Usually those
don't know.
synonyms
Unhinged.
are used for the actual fireworks,
Yeah.
insane clown, and,
Yeah.
blow up the missile, insane.
I am kind of
tower.
curious, though. If you guys know of any fireworks that are absolutely fantastic that I should shoot off, let us know in the comments so I can pick some more up.
Tannerite's probably going to be your biggest hit here, and it's technically not even a
Well,
firework.
Tannerite's excellent for all of that split second. Mm-hmm. But I want some good fountains, maybe some good.
I want some
bottle rockets,
some snakes and some sparklers. Some good
snakes and sparklers.
You know
That's
what?
a good callback.
Why aren't there snake sparklers? Sparklers that are also snakes. Why aren't the snakes sparkling, Logan?
Why aren't they?
Yeah.
Regulations.
Oh,
They don't.
yeah,
They
that's
don't.
how they
They
get
don't
you.
allow snakes to sparkle unless sparklers are snaking. That's just how it be.
Sounds racist to me.
It's
I
not.
can't believe it.
But we're gonna have a pretty special guest. I say that because it's from one of the nicest countries, or at least that's what I hear, up in the Canadas. His name is Don Lindsay. He's
Don
the
Lindsay.
founder of the Canadian Firearms Network. I
Yeah.
almost screwed that up big time.
That's okay.
He's going to join us. We're going to talk about firearms in Canada.
Yep.
Gun laws in Canada. What's going on up there?
Yeah, what's going on in Canada?
We're going to
you
ask
know?
him some Canadian questions.
I always feel
why
like-
do they say A?
Yeah.
Hey.
What's
Why
the
do they
deal?
say A?
What's the deal with A? Eh?
Yeah.
So, something that gets thrown around a lot is like anytime there's an election cycle, like, "Well, if so-and-so wins, I'm moving to Canada. We'll find out about that and see see how many Americans have fled to Canada and are living in, I believe this guy lives in, I'm going to mess it up, Ontario? Quebec?
I don't know.
Ontario.
That's about all I got. Alberta. That's one too, right?
Yep.
I basically know everything about Canada now.
Yeah.
I know
so
they
little
got-
about Canada.
I know they got really dry drinks up there too.
Do they?
Canada Dry, it's right in the name.
One thing we should talk about, though, before we have our guest on is... if
Labatt
you're-
Blue,
I don't know what that is.
it's a beer.
Oh, is it?
I thought that's what you want to talk about.
No. I want to talk about the fact that if you're watching on TV or watching on Facebook and you're seeing us live, you're noticing these bad boys right here.
Oh, these new teas, huh?
Check this
Yeah. Ooh.
We're doing a limited run of these. If you have ordered already, you should be getting your order any day now. But if you haven't, you're going to want to go to and if you could pull this up, Trevor.
Oh, yeah, I'll pull this
You're
up.
going to want to go to thegunshopshow.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here. Hang on, because, sorry. Yeah, keep talking.
Okay. You're going to want to go to thegunshopshow.com. At the top of the page, you'll see shop. Click there. We'll have this shirt as well as other merch. Trevor's showing you there on the screen right now. If you're not listening to the radio, you're going to want to stop what you're doing, go to thegunshopshow.com and order one of these shirts because we're only doing them until July 16th. After that, we're not making a single one more. So if you want this shirt, you're going to want to get your order in now.
Now, for the listeners, we should let them know that this is the Liberty Tree name in the style of
Stranger Things.
Yeah, it's a la Stranger Things.
Yes.
So we're fans of pop culture, and we like to have fun with it. I mean, there's other shirts on here too that are pretty awesome. We've got a one that's based off of the Schoolhouse Rock graphic, wherever it is. There it is.
There it is.
Yeah,
That one's good. I have one of those.
Yeah, Liberty Tree rocks, and then we got this one here. It's got like a little 3D effect. Let's see if we can make it a little bigger.
It's hard to see like that, but yeah, it kind of messes with your eyes. It looks blurry, but it's really not. It's just a 3D effect.
Yeah, just a little 3D effect
going on with the design.
And of course, we got the traditional gun shop show shirt design here. You can get that one. And also, we've got one that's the word Second Amendment or pro Second Amendment in the shape of a gun.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Got some pretty good merch. So get
gonna
in
have
there, order one of these shirts before it's too late. They look absolutely fantastic. They're really soft, really comfortable. So you're gonna want to get one of those
that Bella
shirts.
canvas?
Another thing that we're doing is we're gonna give away a gun this
What?
week.
We're giving away a gun?
We'll announce the winner of the $100 gift card later in the episode if we remember. Hopefully we will.
Hopefully.
But we're going to give away a gun this week. Okay.
What kind of-
And this is from our used inventory, but I say used lightly
Yeah.
because it looks almost brand new.
A lot of people bring
I thought it
in.
was new.
It
bring
looks
in
new.
guns
It comes
like
with
brand
a box.
new, yeah.
Yeah. So you buy a gun, you're like, that's not really the gun I wanted. I wanted this gun. So you bring the gun back in after not even firing it, and you buy the gun you want. So sometimes we get guns. Like this is a gun, a PX9 they were giving away that are used technically because someone owned one, but are essentially brand new.
Virtually no signs of wear.
No signs of wear. Comes with this nice holster here.
Oh,
this
that
fits
is
in
nice.
like this.
Oh, wow.
Boom, snaps in. Good protection.
There was a lady the other day that brought one in, said she bought it, took it home, and her husband said, "You don't need another gun. You need to take that back." And so she brought
The
gun
husband
back.
said that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to
she
have
was a
to-
really nice lady.
Gonna need to have a talk
Bizarro
with him.
land? Bizarro land?
Right?
Yeah, I don't know
Seems
why her husband
backwards.
said she couldn't have another
But if
gun.
you want to win or get entered in for a chance to win that Zagana PX9, you're going to share the feed and you're going to tag 5 friends. And that's on Facebook. Go to Facebook, type in Liberty Tree Guns. You'll see us there. Share that feed to your timeline and tag 5 friends. That's all you have to do to be entered to win.
That's pretty simple, dude.
It's pretty simple.
It doesn't get much easier.
It's pretty simple.
Doesn't get much easier.
So do that. It helps.
that.
It helps support the show. We really appreciate it. While you're there, you might as well like this video or the video we're
That's
doing.
what I would do.
And another little shout out that I need to throw out is to one of our I would say probably currently our most important sponsor, and that is U.S. Law Shield. U.S. Law Shield is legal defense for your self-defense. They're absolutely fantastic. They have a really low introductory rate. If you sign up now, if you go to Liberty Tree, uslawshield.com, click join now, you can enter promo code. Now this is all one word, Liberty Tree. And it's important that you enter this in because it gets you your rate locked at a rate of, I believe, $10.95 for the lifetime of your membership.
Cheaper than Netflix.
Cheaper than Netflix. We know how expensive attorneys can be. Go sign up now. Use that code LibertyTree. You get 14 months for the price of 12, so you're saving money there. It's an absolute need, in my opinion, for anyone that's going to carry and use their firearm for self-defense. Please stay with us. We'll have Don Lindsay on next. This is, and always is, the Gun Shop Show.
Hey everyone, the Gun Shop Show is brought to you by Carthage Lock and Key. If you need anything to do with a lock or a key...
To success!
Did they tell you to say that?
No, I just thought it sounded good.
They have a mobile service, so they can come to you and cut pretty much any kind of key.
To success!
Or if you lock your keys in your
To
car...
success!
I'm talking even security modern chip keys.
To success!
Trevor, could you just jingle the name of the business? Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it good this time.
So, with all of my properties and all of the needs I have, I trust
Carthage Lock and Key! To success!
Our member is involved in a brief road rage incident. One driver cuts off another in traffic, and harsh words and gestures soon follow. After the pleasantries are exchanged, our driver goes on his way assuming the incident is over. However, still agitated, the other driver calls 911 and reports our member as aggressive, possibly having seen a weapon in his hand. In reality, what he saw was our member flipping him the bird. In an incident that can only be described as an overreaction by officers, our member is pulled over. When officers learn that he carries a legal concealed firearm, they arrest him despite a lack of evidence. This incident is just one of numerous member experiences. Be aware when traveling with a firearm. Any aggressive actions made by you, right or wrong, can land you in jail. Don't let it happen to you.
Talk about it. What? Yeah. Here we go. 44,000 business cards. I said 44,000 business cards. I said 44,000 business cards. I said 44. Crap. 44,000.
We're Dirt Road Comedy, and when we're not traveling around in our luxurious RV, we like to listen to a gun shop show.
Welcome back to the Gun Shop Show. As a reminder, if you want to get entered in to win one of these bad boys right here.
What is that bad boy?
Zagana PX9, really similar to the Springfield
Ghana?
XTS. Zagana.
Zegana?
Really similar to the Springfield XTS. It's a fantastic carry pistol
Prizes
for home
just keep
defense or
getting
whatnot.
better.
Now, are
They
we giving
really
away?
do.
Are we giving away that Ghana or Zigana?
Zagana right here. Zagana.
I've never even.
This is
heard
one of our
that.
used firearms, but it's in almost brand new condition. Comes with a box, comes with the holster, complete package. All you have to do is share the feed and tag 5 friends. It's really that simple.
Super simple. We're going to
Super
announce
simple.
that winner a little later on in the ship. But first, what are we doing first, Logs?
What are we doing first?
I don't know. Do we do a show, right?
Yeah, we do.
Oh.
But we do have an exciting show for you guys today. We have a really interesting guest all the way up from Canada. That is Don Lindsay. He is the founder of Canadian Firearms Network. Don, how are we doing today?
I'm doing fine. This is July 1st, actually, is Canada Day. But we're just basically, the Canadians are doing our big holiday weekend.
So what, I mean, for us Americans, kind of put into context, what is Canadian Day? Like what exactly
what
are you
is that?
celebrating on Canadian
I guess,
Day?
I guess your 4th of July
Okay.
is your big
So
U.S. event.
like
So
Independence
this is our
Day?
event. That's
Gotcha.
basically the same idea,
Okay.
same sort of thing.
Well, I mean, I hope you're fraught with Canadian knowledge because I'm Canadian dumb and will definitely need an education today.
Well, as you can see, I'm not living in an igloo. Some people
No.
have said, "Oh, you're Canadian,
Maybe
you live
the
in igloos?"
opposite
Like,
of an
what?
igloo? Maybe the opposite?
But did you have some Canadian bacon for breakfast this morning?
Alan with the important
Now you're
questions.
getting me hungry, man.
I don't know why, but I want pizza all of a sudden.
Weird.
They actually got pizza machines. They got down the road here. You go down, you get throw
Machine?
in $13, and it spits out a pizza out of the machine in 3 minutes.
Oh, the future is
Cooked?
here.
Not the tastiest
It's cooked?
at all.
Oh, it's got to be cooked, man.
Oh,
You can call it cooked, but they wouldn't say it's very good cooked.
oh,
It's like
I gotcha.
It's warm.
It's crispy. It's just horrible in so many ways. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah, we got pizza machines up here.
I'm sure it sustains itself at least, right?
Well, it's a lot of tourists. I live in a tourist zone up here in
There you
Wasaga
go.
Beach, and our town right now is just getting swamped from many people from the Toronto area.
Really?
Well, Toronto's about an hour and a half away from here, and so a lot of the tourists in Toronto head up to our area because we've got the largest freshwater beach in the world.
Excellent.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
Just,
we were just wondering. Well, we were talking about where you were from, which you're just off of Lake Huron, correct?
Georgia
Your town,
yeah.
Georgia Bay. Which
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was looking at a map and it showed me Lake Huron. So I mean, I think they're connected,
Yeah.
aren't they? Okay.
Yeah,
And Wasaga Beach, which is a part of Ontario.
Yes, Ontario,
Okay.
Canada.
I've been to Georgia Beach or Georgia Bay.
Yeah.
Been up around that area.
How is it?
Canada.
A lot of people
Beautiful.
fish up here.
Beautiful.
Big tourist
Yeah.
area, lots of islands.
A lot of
Very lovely area.
forest, moose crossing signs on the roads everywhere. It's beautiful.
How long are your winters there?
You get up a little farther, you'll hit the moose. You go up the road a little farther on the lake here, but there's moose.
Yeah.
Definitely
You-
moose.
Hunt any of those mooses? Do you?
Mooses.
I have. I mean, I've shot moose years ago. In fact, let me see here.
Probably has the rifle he shot it with right there with him. Yes.
This is a Mauser K98.
Oh.
This
excellent.
is I picked this up in the 80s and popped a moose with that thing. And
Still looks good.
I paid $118 back then
Wow.
for that rifle.
Yeah, they're not that cheap.
And now I'm trying to pay it for a Mauser.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, too, while I was hunting one side going down there with my own Mauser, my dad had us. I was carrying a Springfield M1 Garand, absolute mint. We still got it. And we paid $430 for that back then, brand like mint. Like a grand now up in Canada is $2,500.
How much did you say you paid for it originally?
I paid $430 for the grand back then, and now they're running $2,700.
Wow. Wow.
So guns are a great investment. They really
They really
appreciate
are.
them. It's a
They really are.
It's plastic, so they just keep going up.
Right.
But
right,
yeah,
right.
Well, this flag here, this is the Métis Nation of Ontario, or Métis Nation flag, and because I'm Native heritage, and so I'm registered in Canada. They have the First Nations people who are full-blood natives, and then those of us who are a distinct society that would mix between the Europeans and the natives when Canada was being settled over 500 years, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm connected to. My mother is a senator on the Georgian Bay Métis Council, and she's 77 and also has her handgun permit. She has brought up issues about pro-gun rights and the Métis trying to basically take control of those rights and try to keep the government from taking them from it, because our Liberal government just is rampant on trying to take everything they can.
Right.
They're spanning everything.
Right. And
yeah,
one
so
of those. Sorry, go ahead.
But with my Métis hunting rights, I can go out and hunt. Same as a First Nations neighbor, I can go out and hunt and fish. I don't need to have permits issued by the government. We're allowed to go out and hunt. But the fact is I'm really not a hunter. I mean, I've shot deer and moose and duck and rabbit and all that sort of thing, wolf hunting. But I gave it up pretty much years ago. Just basically stick with my love of firearms and collecting and just trying to use everything I can. My brother, who's 3 years younger than me, he was trained at the military base Borden, not too far from here, all through his teens and adult life there. And he was for long distance shooting 1,000 yards, 308s, set some records down there. He was ready, but his thing, he's really into the hunting. My brother's always going hunting. He practices our Métis hunting rights. I get my meat at Walmart.
So why'd you give up hunting?
I just don't need the hunting. I mean, I've never married, no kids. Just played in bands and done my own thing. My freezer's, this big. I just don't like the ass cheek of a deer in it. So to me, it's just not worth the trouble of going out. And I'm more like the Dr. Dolittle of gun fanatics. I kind of like to just go out in the forest and see nature and all its beauty. And I love winter camping. I've been winter camping for about 30 years. I snowshoe at the forest, always solo, always alone. And I have a toboggan behind me and my gear, and I build my own winter camp and shelters and stuff. And when I get out in the forest, I sit down, set up camp, and then I pull out a bag of snow crab and shrimp and garlic butter. And I could be hell up north in the middle of no places. I'm sitting down having a seafood dinner and this sort of thing. At the same time, waving to all the birds and bunnies and deers and stuff all they're going through. So it's my hunting is not my priority, really. I'm a gun enthusiast, and I keep it at that.
Gotcha.
Well, it sounds like a really good time, at least getting connected to nature and becoming one with it. I know that, anytime I really need to kind of calm my insides, the best thing to do is just go outside and be with the elements.
Yeah.
Well, Don, we're going to be coming up on the end of the segment here.
That's right.
In about 30 seconds. So when we get back, I'd kind of like to talk a little more with you about, what inspired you and what brought you to creating the Canadian Firearms Network. I think that would be a pretty good place to get started, don't you think, Loeb? Yeah,
I agree. And if you're listening on the radio and you're wondering what we're talking about and what we look like, go ahead and go over to Facebook, type in Liberty Tree Guns. We'll be right there. We'll be right back. This is the Gun Shop Show.
Hey, podcast listeners and live stream viewers. I wanted to let you know that the Gun Shop Show is made possible by our friends at Mid-America RV. Being in the customer service industry, I have a really high standard for how customers are treated. Mid-America RV does it right. I've got my RV through their dealership, and I've taken it all over the country. We made it to South Padre Island. We've gone to Colorado several times. And if you've ever owned an RV, you know there's a lot that comes with it. So who you get it from matters, and it's extremely important that you have support after the sale. They're located just outside of Carthage. They have a really vast inventory, and they are home of, I believe they call it a forever warranty. So I urge you, if you're in the market for one, to check them out. It's a really fun and can be very affordable way to get your trips in. So visit them at midamericarrv.com. We appreciate their support of the Gun Shop Show. If you're in the market for a travel trailer or fifth wheel, check out Mid-America RV.
game wardens have seen it all. Learn from them. How in the world does a dog shoot a man when proper safety is completely ignored? For example, a Texas hunter was shot and killed by his own dog. With the safety off, the dog stepped on his loaded shotgun in the bed of his pickup truck. Somehow, his paw got in the trigger guard and discharged the shotgun. Tragically, the 46-year-old math teacher was struck in the thigh and died. A hunter in Minnesota was shot in the leg when his dog jumped aboard his boat. And a bulldog in Florida shot his owner while they were driving to a hunting spot. Believe it or not, these astonishing cases are all true, and game wardens have seen it all. Hunters and anglers, that is why we are so pleased to announce our brand new series of exciting events featuring retired game wardens and experienced lawyers who hunt, whose sole purpose is to keep you safe on the hunt or on the water and on the right side of the law. Each event is designed to give hunters and anglers the essential law that they need to stay out of trouble, plus provide the opportunity for real questions and answers from these highly trained professionals in a fun and interactive manner. If you hunt, fish, or love someone that does, you owe it to yourself to attend. Best of all, it's sponsored by your friends at Texas Law Shield, so you know it will be great. As always, stay armed, stay educated, and register for a sportsman law seminar today.
Hey everybody, Eli here, and I'm really excited to tell you that the Gun Shop Show is brought to you by one of my favorite places on earth. Located here in my hometown of Carthage on the beautiful historic square, the Emporium on the square, and the Woodshed. It's a art gallery, an event center, a gift shop. They have art classes, and there's very unique Americana artwork from famous artists like Andy Thomas. They handle a lot of his original framing. Just has this incredible old school vibe, and you can feel the history coming through. Have to check out the art gallery, but then as you work your way to the back, my favorite part, the Woodshed, had a lot of great meals in here. They've got burgers. I love their catfish. Excellent. Chicken and waffles even. It's incredible. And it's also a music venue, so we got to see my favorite band of all time, the Ben Miller Band. Ceiling was literally raining down. They were rocking so hard. But the best thing, owned by one of my favorite people on earth, that's Cherry Babcock. Check out the Emporium on the Square and the Woodshed.
If I wasn't watching the Gun Shop Show, I wouldn't be as cool as I am.
Welcome back to the Gun Shop Show. We're giving away a Zagana PX9. This is used, but it's in fantastic
Man, that
condition.
thing don't look used to
It
me.
looks pretty much brand new, and if you want to get entered in to win that, all you have to do is share the feed on Facebook and tag 5 friends in the comments.
And that's one of those 9
Super
millimeter
super simple.
pistols that's,
It resembles
It's what
a
all the
Springfield
kids are
XD.
talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're nice, they're lightweight, they're reliable, and you can win one just by sharing the feed and tagging 5 friends.
That's pretty easy to do.
You
that.
Americans
It
are
really
so
is.
lucky because we Canadians cannot carry. It's just
At all?
You
Can't carry
guys,
at all?
Well-
but see, Canada, we have handguns. I've got handguns here too, and I've got Bursa Pro 9mm. My dad's got a Ruger Super Blackhawk with stainless 4 Magnum, a 10-inch barrel on it.
Yeah, big boy.
You know, I've got long G19s, all that sort of stuff. I got Cap and Ball Colts and Remingtons, all that sort of thing. But Canada does not allow you to use a handgun anywhere other than at a registered gun club. And we have
so-
to have all kinds.
Yeah,
We have to have
you can
paperwork
own them, but you
here,
can't.
there, back.
You just have to transport them to the safe places to shoot them, or the safe places, I guess.
So
let's talk about.
we Canadians are jealous of your
Yeah.
freedoms up there. We really wish we could do the same.
Well, we're going to get into more of that. Logan, did you have something you wanted to ask?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's talk about that real quick. What do gun rights, gun laws look like in Canada for us U.S. people that have all these freedoms? We're not necessarily aware of what happens around the world as far as guns are concerned.
Well, Canada has a long history of anti-gun legislation being imposed upon us, and like I've been firing a handgun since I was 7 years old. My parents are retired pastors. They put ammunition in my Christmas stocking when I was 6 years old. And then I was firing Smith & Wesson 22 Masterpiece at 7 and all the sorts of stuff. But though we had the handguns there, we're not allowed to take them out. We can't go up and have fun with them. And then even our long arms, they keep prohibiting and reclassifying those as prohibited. Recently, well, in 1995, they brought in the so-called assault rifle ban. I got hit in that whole mess. That basically banned anything that looks scary to them. I guess same sort of thing as you guys went through with the Bill Clinton era with its bans.
Yes.
But so the thing is that I used to collect guns that were originally full automatic, converted to semi-automatic. So I collected stuff like original M14s in Vietnam with the selector switch on the side, 3 selector AKs that had been converted to semi. They were all legal back then, and there was a number of guns I collected. Even a Spaz 12, Frenchy Spaz 12, though it was not a conversion, they got reclassified, prohibited under the Ordering Council back then. And in fact, I have beside me here, this is Weapons Prohibited and Restricted by Ordering Council Reference Manual, dated 1992.
Oh, yikes. My God. That looks pretty thick, too.
Looks like a relic.
So, I'll give you an idea of what this thing is. It's a picture book. For instance, here we got the Spads being represented as being prohibited. And it lists all the variants and this sort of thing. And it goes through, the Max and they just went through everything.
Your VZs, yeah.
So this book basically just lists stuff. Any gun that's a variant of it. Like our Sterlings. You guys get your Sterlings down there. And we cannot get Sterlings anymore.
So, Don, what happens when you own a firearm that is then prohibited? So you initially legally own it, and then they say, never mind, that's prohibited. What happens to that firearm?
Well, they tell you that you have, by Ordering Council, you have to turn it over, no compensation. They just basically hand it over, and if you refuse to, as in my case, what that they did to me, because when they didn't have at the time, Canada had a no gun registry, didn't exist back then, and so because we're talking the 90s, early 90s and mid 90s, so there was no gun registry. So what happened is when they reclassified those firearms as prohibited, the police went through the purchase records of the gun shops because we are required to use our firearms permit. They used to be called a FAC, which was a firearms acquisition certificate. Now they're called a possession and acquisition license. They keep changing the name for some reason. So, but back then if they ban the stuff, they tell you to turn over, no compensation. And they went through the purchase records, seen who bought what, sent us a letter. In my case, I got a letter from the RCMP saying, we understand you have and listed all the guns from this one specialized dealer I had. And then they said, hand it over. Well, I didn't agree with it. And
well, of course,
I made things vanish. And so
you had a boating accident.
Had a big boating accident up there.
They were aliens. It's real. They exist. The aliens, man. So anyway, I was rated over that. I was rated. Yes.
So
I was rated.
The Ordering Council, is that part of the national government, or is that part of, because each state up there has a government also?
But see, Canada doesn't work like the United States. You have certain state laws and all this sort of thing. Canada doesn't. We have our provinces, but the government gun legislation sweeps right across from border to border. There are our provinces do not control those limits.
Okay.
And so it doesn't matter if you're in Manitoba or Saskatchewan or Alberta or British Columbia or any of our provinces out in the East Coast. They when they go and bring in gun legislation, it sweeps right across the whole board. The only exception to that is Quebec. Quebec does have their own gun registry and their own gun laws, and they tend to be very left-wing and anti-gun there. So there is a problem with Quebec just by itself. However, what happened is when they brought the laws in, and I was seeing some girl that, let's just say, she looked very much like Faith Hill, the country singer, just beautiful. We had this little pond over at my house, and my ex-girlfriend showed up at my house drunk, throwing rocks at the windows and saying, "Guess who I'm going to call?" And she called the SWAT team in and told them I was armed and barricaded in the house and going to shoot the police. When actually, in fact, I was enjoying this lovely woman I was with. So what happened is the tactical squad showed up, and 4:30 in the morning, I found the police hiding around the corner from my house, and I actually circled around them. It was a cruiser here and a cruiser here, and I walked up between them as the cops had their back to me, putting their vests on. And I start talking to them, and they spin around, and they're like, "What's your name?" And Don Lindsay. "Oh, you're under arrest." And they did this.
Surprise!
Yeah, well, I knew they were going to come, but the thing is because of my passions for firearms, I know that they were going to come in pretty heavy. And last thing I needed was myself or some of my friends getting shot over them getting all excited over the stupidity of a drunk girlfriend at the time. And I mean, I'm friends with that girl again. We're still friends, but we don't mess around no more. But we're friends still. I've kind of buried the hatchet on that one.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, the police grabbed me and he put me in cuffs, and they said, "Where's your guns?" And of course, I was living with a buddy of mine, and he was in the house still with his girlfriend and all sort of thing. So when the police grabbed me, they said, "Where's your guns?" And I said, "Well, they're in a safe place in the house right now." And he says, "Well, where are they?" And I said, "Well, you go in and you grab the washing machine, pull the washing machine out, grab the wall, pull the whole wall out, and there's a whole room full of guns in there," which there was. But I got shipped off to jail, and then my buddy escorted the police through the thing. The whole room full of guns we had in there, they were perfectly legal. I mean, I had stuff like my little Ruger 1022 stainless in there, and some cop thought it was an AK-47.
Yikes.
They went through the whole place. And so, but my buddy, he had a registered Colt AR-15 heavy barrel with a Russian Starlight scope on it and a 90-round drum mag. But because Canada has its magazine limits, it had a rivet in it, so it would only hold 5 rounds instead of 90. And so his gun was.
Hey, Don, we're coming up on a break. If we could continue the story when we get back, that'd be fantastic.
Okay,
awesome.
That's right.
Awesome. Okay, guys, we're coming up on a break. Please stay with us. We're going to continue that crazy story when we get right back.
Don't forget to share and tag.
Share and tag.
To win the gun.
On the Gun Shop Show.
Land is everything to me. When I was born, I was brought home to the family farm, was raised, learned work ethic there, learned appreciation and respect for life and the land itself, and it just became second nature. I had to be there all the time. Whenever I wasn't on the land, I was not happy. But I learned to understand the land, learned to respect it, learned family values. My wife and I have bought a farm besides the one we live on, and it has just been a great investment, and it's been someplace that my son and I have shared the passion of hunting together, and land has been everything in my life. It has kind of kept me focused and gave me a place to be. It's kind of kept me grounded.
Hey, you know what makes this, the Gun Shop Show, possible? It's people who believe in the show. And someone who has believed in the show from the very beginning is my good friend Chris Chapman, owner of Whitehead Farm Supply. Here's a message from Chris.
Guys, my name's Chris Chapman, owner of Whitehead Farm Supply, and I just want to take a few seconds here to let you know that we are going to be proud sponsors of the Gun Shop Show, and we appreciate everything that them guys are doing over there, and we just want to show them our support. Thank you.
So whether you have 2 chickens or 2,000 acres, Chris is your man. Give him a call. I guess that's pretty much the ad.
Whitehead Farm Supply.
Seriously?
Always.
Hi, I'm Eli Pagginson. When I'm not fighting red flag laws, playing games, or writing, I'm listening to The Gun Shop Show.
Welcome back to the Gun Shop Show. We're giving away a gun this week. This one right here is a pretty nice looking Zagana PX9 9mm. Mm-hmm. It holds all of, let me check.
How many rounds?
18 rounds of 9mm.
In the magazine?
In the magazine. That's quite a bit of ammo.
Mm-hmm. 18 rounds?
Mm-hmm. 18 rounds, 9mm. All you have to do to get entered in for a chance to win that is share the feed and tag 5 friends. It's really that simple. And if you're like, Logan,
yeah, Logan, what
are you talking about? Sharing the feed. Here. You're going to want to go over to Facebook, type in Liberty Tree Guns. You're going to see us there live, all our beautiful faces. You're going to share that feed on your timeline or your whatever it's called, and you're going to tag 5 friends that are into guns.
Yeah,
not just any friends, 5 friends that would enjoy our content. That's it.
I mean, I enjoy it. And last week, Lulu, our friend Lulu, she did indeed end up tagging me 5 times.
Did she really?
Yes, she did.
That is awesome.
And I'd like to think that I'm 5 times her friend. You know, I'm pretty sure there's a Lionel Richie song in there sometimes. Or somewhere.
Okay, when we last left off, Don, you were telling us this story about how you were raided.
Yes.
If you want to continue with that, that would be fantastic.
That was the assault rifle ban back in 95. And so, the police handcuffed me and searched the house and went through and searched all through our stuff there. And there was nothing for them to find. So I only spent one night in jail and this sort of thing. Everything worked out good on that. Then the long gun registry came in, and
what was the long gun registry?
The long gun registry basically said no matter what type of firearm you have, it now has to be registered with the Canadian government, and they want to know its serial number, make, model, freaking everything. And they went and did all that sort of stuff. They brought in all kinds of laws just to do whatever they could to bugger us up. So everybody had to go and register their firearms. And if you refused, they could again charge you. They could do all the stuff if they catch you with a gun that was not registered. You had to have all your permits, of course, to go and buy ammunition and this sort of thing. So all that whole stuff went down. So I basically disobeyed that for 17 years, hid my entire collection the police had just seen when they raided me over the assault rifle ban. Because when they went in the whole room that they had seen, that now vanished. And I started a whole second collection that I registered and hid the other one. And we have.
So they confiscated all of your firearms that was in that room?
No, I hit it on them before they had a chance.
Gotcha.
Aliens got
those firearms. And now it's aliens, huh? Well, I guess it's been some units.
Yeah. So anyway, they disappeared. And so the long gun registry lasted for many years. And then Prime Minister Stephen Harper came in. Who was a conservative, and he went through a lot of lobbying by the National Firearms Association and the Canadian Shooting Sports Association, and I believe the Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights was existing then also. And basically, the Prime Minister Harper repealed the long gun registry and got rid of it. So now our guns do not.
Excellent.
So
I mean,
it's a great bonus.
I don't want to get too far ahead on this, but I don't know how much you've been following us, Don, but we've been speaking to some of our contemporaries in the firearms enthusiast world across the ocean. So that's how we got to know you, Mike Lindsay from Northern Ireland.
I just got it unique. He has the same name as me.
Right. Yeah, he's like, I don't think we're related, but we could be.
Probably related.
We talked to Callum Long Collins. Yeah, we talked to Callum
from Scotland.
From Scotland, yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm getting all these names mixed up because they all seem so familiar in my brain. But anyway, the UK gun laws, they don't seem to be getting repealed at all once they've been signed. But in Canada, that sounds like it has actually happened. You guys have actually recovered some of, I'm not sure if there are rights for you guys, if you have any sort of Second Amendment style rights built into your founding documents like we do. Do you?
We don't have a Second Amendment. This is part. Right. That's where the problem is. We don't have these rights, and so the government can repeal anything that they want, prohibit anything they want, reclassify anything they want. Here's a fine example. Okay, this firearm on my sign that's a CZ858, Czechoslovakian. Okay, the CZ858 and the Swiss Arms green rifles, the SIGs, they got reclassified as prohibited by the RCMP when Stephen Harper was in. And the RCMP, being a police agency, were allowed to make their own reclassifications on firearms as they so chose, without being put towards a vote or anything in council. They just did it. It's a dictatorship within the RCMP, and the RCMP are very anti-gun.
Well, our ATF does similar things.
Mm-hmm.
The same attitude. The BAATF and the RCMP are like butt buddies. Their attitudes of abusing their fellow citizens is just ridiculous. And so what happened is when they reclassified the CZ858, I organized a protest at Parliament Hill, or actually Queen's Park in Toronto, which is a branch of the government. But I organized a protest there, and what I did is I played a little bit of a game in politics. I went across all the conservative websites, and I said, your party says that they're pro-gun and stand for our issues, and yet the conservatives have allowed the RCMP to impose a gun ban upon their citizens while under the watch of the conservative government. And then what I did is I went and leapfrogged it on. I said, help me march against government corruption and the Harper government, and I leapfrogged onto a left-wing communist, Marxist bunch of dingbat freaking movement that was already been happening. And I went and stuck it up there just to poke the bear, because I'm not a commie. I'm not going to vote for them. But the fact is that if the politicians, I was trying to make them uncomfortable, and it worked. The night before the protest, I get a message on my phone coming in from the guys from the Canadian Shooting Sports Association. They had met me when I spoke in Parliament Hill at the end of the Long Gun Registry. And so they sent me a text, and they say, we're in a meeting with Public Safety Minister Stephen Blaney. Give us a call. I phone him up, and they're laughing on the phone. They're saying, we'll have to call you Canada's Ted Nugent. The Conservatives are asking who you are and asking you to stop and protest. They're afraid you're going to damage the party. They said they're going to change some gun laws and this sort of thing. And I said, well, I'm not stopping. I got people showing up. I said, but I'll leave Harper's name and the Conservative names off the signs, but I'll attack the RCMP and the chief firearms officers for the province who make the decisions on these sort of things. Mm-hmm. And they said, okay. And then 3 months later, I get a message on my 3 months later, the thing actually, the guns were made legal again. They made the CZ858 legal and the Swiss Arms rifle, and they took away the powers from the RCMP to reclassify firearms. And so that's, again, what the Conservative government did to clamp down on this sort of abuse by the RCMP. Mm-hmm. Problem is, though, when Trudeau, our current prime minister, got in his first term, the Liberals are always anti-gun, extremely anti-gun. And first thing he did was he gave the powers back to the RCMP to reclassify firearms and products. And then so then they made the CZ and 858 prohibited again. And then they took the Ruger 1022 Butler Creek type mags, the little 25 rounders.
Yeah.
They reclassified every single magazine for the Ruger 1022 that holds over 10 rounds as prohibited. You can have a Marlin or Remington or anything with a 25 or 110 round drum mag, all perfectly legal. But because it's a Ruger 1022, they made it prohibited. And justification for that is because Ruger has a model called the Charger pistol. And the laws in Canada say that if you have a handgun, handguns can hold 10 rounds in the magazine, and long arms can hold, and if they're 22 caliber, there is no magazine limit on it. Mm-hmm. And so what they did is, because they classified the Charger as a pistol, they said, well, that means that the magazines are a variant of a pistol magazine, and therefore all the rest of the Ruger magazines can only hold no more than 10. Mm. It's really twisted, the logic is not there. Yeah. So, I went and bought a whole stack of magazines. I went to called up Cabela's. I said, is this true? They got a Cabela's here in Barrie, Ontario. Mm. And I called them up. I said, is this true? And they said, yes, we've taken off the mags off the shelves by order of the RCMP. I called up another gun shop. They had some. I went down, bought a handful of them, took a picture of them with another, and I bought a CZ858 mag, held them all up together, said, throw me in jail again. I will not comply. Freaking, they're all gone. They're all hidden. And Canadians did this all across the country. The laws make no sense at all. So Canada's not based on logic. All these gun legislation is based on feelings and knee-jerk reactions to whatever crisis erupts on the whole thing. But the negative thing is those of us who've been following the laws keep getting screwed over it.
Right.
And it's just ridiculous. I don't know how to put it.
Right. Well, with regards to just firearm ownership in general, it seems like you get targeted, and the people that are getting sidelined or getting, threatened with jail time are the people who are already complying with the laws, and it isn't logic. And I mean, if you're if politics play a part in that, for a party that builds itself on data and logic, they're not using a lot of logic with regards to what you're talking about and what you're discussing. You just make a magazine illegal simply because of the manufacturer.
Well, there's certain states here that have laws like that where if you have a magazine over 10 rounds it also fits in a pistol, it's illegal in that state.
I see what you're saying. We're going to be coming up on the end of the segment here, Don, before too long.
Yeah.
Well, see, I got my Kel-Tec Sub 2000. I bought it because it's used G19 mags.
Yep.
This gun's non-restricted. I can take my Kel-Tec out in the forest and shoot and use the Glock mags, but I can't take my Glock out. But pistol caliber carbines are very popular in Canada.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're coming up on a break. This is the last hour on TV. So if you're watching on TV, go to Facebook, search Liberty Tree Guns. You'll see us there live.
You can also find us on YouTube.
It's true. We're on YouTube as well.
Same words, Liberty Tree Guns. So simple. Win a gun.
Stay with us. We'll be right back on the Gun Shop Show.
People are always asking me, Eli, you seem to get the best deals on things. What is your secret?
Glory actions and estate sales.
Trevor, I appreciate you jingling, but I have to say the ad part first because people need to know about the company.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to do that.
And then also, it's covering up my face. So just get a picture like from their Facebook page because that's the best place, and then just put it right up here where the Gun Shop Show logo is. Okay.
All right. I'll do better this time.
Then so let me finish the ad, and then you can jingle. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the best place to go is their Facebook page.
Oh, glory actions and estate sales.
You know what? Fine. I'll just move in between the graphics and finish telling people that the best place to find out when old
glory actions and estate sales. I think I got it that time, man.
Our member's girlfriend is on her way to pick up her kids from her ex-husband's house. She asked our member to tag along because of her ex's temper. As they arrive at the home, her ex emerges yelling and gesturing. He approaches his ex-wife and grabs her, attempting to drag her inside. Fearing for her life, our member, a trained CHL holder, jumps out of the car with his gun drawn and demands the ex-husband release her. Seeing the gun, the assailant retreats. The situation then takes a bizarre turn as the assailant dials 911 to report our member. As a result of the aggressor's lies, our member was wrongfully arrested. Our member had to undergo lengthy legal proceedings. However, he was ultimately cleared of all charges.
Buckle up, because belts just got better. With Core Essentials, the perfect fit every time. With 40 plus sizing positions. Styles for any situation. Whether in the boardroom, crushing sales and taking names, on your next adventure, in the great outdoors, or when you're done for the day and ready to relax. Get your perfect fit with Core Essentials.
Hey everyone, the Gun Shop Show is brought to you by Carthage Lock and Key. If you need anything to do with a lock or a key
to success.
Did they tell you to say that?
No, I just thought it sounded good.
They have a mobile service, so they can come to you and cut pretty much any kind of key
to success.
Or if you lock your keys in your car.
Success.
I'm talking even security modern chip keys.
To success!
Trevor, could you just jingle the name of the business?
Okay. Yeah, I'll do it good this time.
So, with all of my properties and all of the needs I have, I trust
Carthage Lock and Key.
to success.
The Gun Shop Show costs money to make, and the Gun Shop Show is brought to you by pecans and cheese. Not really. Actually, we didn't have any sponsors for this segment, and so I decided that I would take a snack break, and also I decided if you guys are tired of listening to me eat cheese and nuts, that you need to buy an ad. So from now on, if our ad sponsorships don't sell out, you're going to have to listen to me eat nuts and cheese. In order to sponsor the Gun Shop Show, send us an email at thegunshopshow@gmail.com.
Next week, chips.
Hey there, we got your lab results back. It looks like you have a fever, and the only prescription is more Gun Shop Show.
The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. What is it? We don't know. The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. Here we go, it's the Gun Shop Show.
Welcome back to the Gun Shop Show.
Thanks, man.
You guys want to enter in for a chance to win Zagana PX9?
I do.
I do.
Free entry. Super simple.
I got 3 friends here today that I can tag.
All you have to do is go to Facebook, type in Liberty Tree Guns, see us there live. You're going to share that feed on your timeline, and you're going to tag 5 friends.
Very professional, Logan.
It's literally it. There's nothing more. It's super simple.
I'm just saying, and your presentation, top notch.
I appreciate that. And while you're there, you might as well leave us a like. We would really appreciate it. Just comment something, anything really. It helps us with the algorithms.
The Dos Equis guy. What's that guy?
Dos Equis?
You know what I'm talking? You know what I'm
I don't know. You mean the Stay Thirsty, my friend?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
that's who you were.
Most interesting man.
That's who you were just now.
Man.
Telling people about that. I just want to say that to you right now.
That means a lot, man. He is my idol.
I love you.
And Dos Equis is a pretty good drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Back to the stuff.
So, Don, I had a question for you. With all these regulations in Canada, you should essentially have 0 gun crime. Is that correct? How's crime looking? How's gun crime looking?
How's 0 gun crimes working out for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's just say that it's a total facade. There's just Canada can go on saying, well, we're strong on gun crime and all the gun laws are targeted at the gun owners. Every single time they bring in a gun bill, it's designed to focus on licensed gun owners on the products that they bought legally. The guys who are shooting up our nation are usually getting their guns smuggled in from the United States or elsewhere. And there's actually been cases of people building their own versions of MAC-10s up here. So the government's gun legislation is not stopping. Of course, with now the new technology and printers that can print out guns, that's been occurring up here. But so the government's way of handling things is saying, well, we're bringing in new laws to stop gun crime. And then they point all the fingers at the gun community and say, they've got to be all banned and all this sort of stuff. So this is the result of it. Every time you turn around, there's another gun ban on it. And they brought in something years ago called the short-barreled handgun legislation. And they said, well, that's going to stop all these people with concealed handguns on the street. Well, the people who are carrying the handguns don't give a damn about the gun laws anyway. So that didn't work out. And then what the result is that I had a Dan Wesson 357 Magnum pistol pack that I bought when I was like about 18 years old.
Yeah.
And I has a 2-inch, 4-inch, 6-inch, and 8-inch interchangeable barrels. So what happened is my father, being a pastor, when he went crippled, asked me to move from one town up to this town to take over the house because he was going on to oxygen hose, crippled. He's in a hospital bed in his living room now. He shut down a foster home they ran for high-risk offenders and abused children since 1978. He closed his church. He started the Wasaga Beach Food Bank. He passed that on to other people. He worked with prison and parole, drug and alcohol, family violence counseling. So my dad wasn't some freaking nutcase stuff. He has a history. He has the Order of Wasaga Beach given to him for his community service. We've got a Civil War cannon sitting in the garage from all the Civil War stuff that he's done. I mean, we all kinds of weird.
That's cool.
Yeah. Neat, eh?
Oh, that's an old one.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll take these things out. But it's an interesting piece. So what happened is when I moved up here, though, as required by law, handguns are a registered restricted firearm. You have to get a permit to move it from one address to the next. So I call up the government as required by law. Yes, I need a permit for my Dan Weston to be moved to the new address that I'm moving to. Mm-hmm. The government responds by, there's no record of your gun ever in existence. And I said, well, wait a sec. I've got the paperwork sitting right here in my hands, and you're the one screwing it up. And they flipped out on my phone. They called me, told me to give my guns to the police, told me all this thing. I was like, you're the one screwing up. Mm-hmm. And instead of listening to me, I phoned them on a Monday, and they refused to give me a permit to move anywhere. So technically, I couldn't move it anyway. I couldn't even move it to my current address. So what happened is that was a Monday. The following Thursday, the freaking tactical squad showed up at my parents' house, and my mom calls me up in a panic, and she says, they're in your apartment because the house is split level, and I have the bottom part of the house. It's at ground level. And she says, they're going through your apartment and this sort of thing and trashing the place, and now they're coming into our house. And so the cops went after my place. They went through my walls, my ceiling vents, wall vents. They pulled everything out, dumped every drawer, beds, boxes, everything was all dumped for a gun I phoned them about to change the address on. And this is, instead of being professional, saying, sir, you're obviously calling us because the Hells Angels and the Bloods and the Crips usually don't phone us to tell us that they're going to move a gun. Instead of behaving like a professional and saying, well, obviously there's a discrepancy somewhere, let's get this straightened out. Instead, they sent the SWAT team. Tara is my family. I wasn't even home. I was in a different city. And then the other kicker is my father, his father took a 25 caliber pistol off of a Nazi in Holland in World War II, made by the Ibar brothers in Spain before the Spanish Civil War. Little 25 ACP. Anyway, so my grandfather took it off this Nazi while he was driving a Bren gun carrier for the Canadian Forces back then, and brought it back after the war. Passed it on to my dad in the 80s. My dad was a pastor, of course, but he loves guns, so he passed it on to my dad, all legal, all registered. And then when Jean Chrétien, that piece of something, Prime Minister, went and changed the gun laws and brought in the short-barreled handgun law, they also charged my father for this 25 ACP, which was fully registered and been in the family for 70-some years, and they charged him for it. And as if that has anything to do with the criminals on the street down in Toronto. And so he got charged. I get charged. I end up in the Penetang super jail with a bank robber from Quebec as my cellmate, and he's saying, they put you in here for a paperwork violation? I shot at cops. He was so
did he have his paperwork for his guns?
He was an interesting guy. I mean, and in the meantime, the police are handcuffing me here. They've got me shackled at the ankles, and I'm coming out of the paddy wagon, and this monstrous cop grabs me up here, and he rams me up against the paddy wagon. He says, "You're the gun guy." And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm the one that phoned you. Like, this is their attitude. And the attitude.
That's how they treat civility.
And so anyway, I got out on bail. I was on release. The police were pulling me over. I was driving a jacked up 81 full-size Jimmy, which is still sitting up my house here rotting. But 350 headers, had rock, high intakes, Capala, And so I drive that thing to the police station, and they freaking grab me. And I end up shipped off to jail. But the cops, when I was on bail, would pull me over all the time. And it got so common, I wouldn't even pull over to the side of the road no more. I would just park it right in the street. As soon as the lights went on, I just parked the truck. So anyway, the cop would walk up to me and say, "Nice truck you got, Don." And I said, "Yeah, I'd like to fix it up, but I'm spending my money fighting you guys over gun legislation." And they just smile and then leave. And then 3 days later, same cop will pull me over again, walk up. "You're under conditions, Don." Wouldn't ask for my driver's license, sure nothing. Then go back in the car. Then I drive to work another day, and another cop follows me in and says he can't see my license plate. on a bumper that's this high and in chrome and a clean plate. They were just doing it to harass me.
Right.
They were waiting outside of bars and everything for me. And so anyways, it turned out I ended up beating him in court. The judge I got the disclosure, and the judge looked at some of the stuff in there and he basically chastised the police for lying, fabricating, omitting evidence. They made 3 offers to say, okay, well, you'll have this weapons prohibition, you'll have these charges, but we'll drop this. And I said, no. Then they made another one. I said, no. And then the third one, I yelled over my lawyer's shoulder and telling me to send me to jail, or gave him a word. And anyway, so they ended up dropping it. And the reason is because I had filed a constitutional charter challenge, and they were afraid that I had the evidence that the police were lying. They were taking people's permits and saying that we had no record. They were taking our guns and been in the family for years. And to avoid it, they just dropped the whole court case because they knew I had the evidence. And so that's what happened. But I didn't get my gun. They took my 57 Magnum. I never did get it back. I had to transfer it to another buddy because he had this permit that they gave for a prohibited status. And my thing is, well, if I owned the gun for 14 years before, and my father owned his 25 ACP for however many years, why aren't we just carried on? It's our gun. It's our property. You've got the paperwork. It's registered in our name. And the government, if we didn't sign a piece of paper in time, they took the guns. And so that's what I went. So I ended up I fought it. And see, most people, and the only reason I won it is because I had a bit of an attitude that I would not comply with anything that, and I knew what was coming. I knew how they were going to behave, and I figured, well, I'm just going to set up certain things in a certain process, knowing what's going to happen to me, because if I had actually done it the way the law states, I would have lost my gun permit, I would have lost my stuff, and I would have had no evidence to prove that the police were lying and causing these sort of things.
Have there been other people who have gone through the same things that you have with regard to fighting?
I've never run into anybody that's done this. I've talked to a lot of gun. I've never heard anybody pulling off what I've pulled off. There's a lot of Canadians who have been raided and charged. Their house is trashed. One guy I know had a big court case. They threatened to dig up his whole yard with a backhoe. They're a bunch of ass.
Bearing his gun.
Sorry, but so that's what's going on. That now we got another whole issue. Now there's a new gun legislation that Prime Minister Trudeau just brought in. And he had his minister, Bill Blair, who is a man who I have absolutely zero respect for. He was a public safety minister. Now they've given him some other portfolio and all this sort of thing. But what happened is they brought in
Don.
this.
Don, we're coming up on a break.
We'll talk more about that when we get back.
Yeah, let's start back with that as soon as we get back from break.
Yeah. That's insane, man. I mean,
that is insane.
Kudos to
but I'm wondering
for fighting the power.
For sure. I'm wondering how many times that happens and then no one hears about it.
For fear of what's going to happen? Stay tuned.
Stay with us. It's the Gun Shop Show.
All right.
Hey, podcast listeners and live stream viewers. I wanted to let you know that the Gun Shop Show is made possible by our friends at Mid-America RV. Being in the customer service industry, I have a really high standard for how customers are treated. Mid-America RV does it right. I've got my RV through their dealership, and I've taken it all over the country. We made it to South Padre Island. We've gone to Colorado several times. And if you've ever owned an RV, you know there's a lot that comes with it. So who you get it from matters, and it's extremely important that you have support after the sale. They're located just outside of Carthage. They have a really vast inventory, and they are home of, I believe they call it a forever warranty. So I urge you, if you're in the market for one, to check them out. It's a really fun and can be very affordable way to get your trips in. So visit them at midamericarv.com. We appreciate their support of the Gun Shop Show. If you're in the market for a travel trailer or fifth wheel, check out Mid-America RV.
Talk about it. What? Yeah. Here we go. 44,000 business cards. I said 44,000 business cards. I said 44,000 business cards. I said 44. Crap. 44,000.
Hey everybody, Eli here, and I'm really excited to tell you that the Gun Shop Show is brought to you by one of my favorite places on earth. Located here in my hometown of Carthage on the beautiful historic square, the Emporium on the square, and the Woodshed. It's a art gallery, an event center, a gift shop. They have art classes, and there's very unique Americana artwork from famous artists like Andy Thomas. They handle a lot of his originals. Framing just has this incredible old school vibe, and you can feel the history coming through. Have to check out the art gallery, but then as you work your way to the back, my favorite part, the Woodshed. Had a lot of great meals in here. They've got burgers. I love their catfish. Excellent. Chicken and waffles even. It's incredible. And it's also a music venue, so we got to see my favorite band of all time, the Ben Miller Band. Ceiling was literally raining down. They were rocking so hard. But the best thing, owned by one of my favorite people on earth, that's Cherry Babcock. Check out the Emporium on the Square and the Woodshed.
Listen here, Pilgrim. This here is the Gun Shop Show.
Welcome back to the Gun Shop Show. We're giving away this beautiful Zagana PX9 9mm, holds 18 rounds. Pretty fantastic.
So how do you spell that? Zigana?
It's Zigana and then PX-9.
You know what? Worked at a gun store for 6 years. Don't know that I ever heard that name before.
They're pretty affordable guns. Yeah, this one is used. Comes with the box. Comes with the holster. Look at that nice little holster right there.
Wow, man, that looks futuristic, like something Judge Dredd would carry.
Tell me about it. All you have to do is share the feed and tag 5 friends. That's it. That'll get you entered in for a chance to win.
Super simple.
And you're out to winning. Pretty good.
And don't forget, later on in the show, we're going to be announcing the winner from last week's $100 gift card.
$100 gift card. Let's go ahead and commit to doing that in the next segment. So
commit to doing it in the next segment, which means we'll probably forget in the next one. So.
And then, forget completely.
So, hey, Don, before we forget, I want to know more about the Canadian Firearms Network. What moment...
That's a pretty nice piece you got there, Don.
What moment or event inspired you to create your organization?
Well, this organization, like I said, did not exist when I went through all these trials and tribulations of being raided and all this sort of nonsense. The Canadian Firearms Network did not exist. The reason it is a fellow named David Brown seeing what I was saying, and he was trying to express the same thing, almost copying what I was saying, but he says, I can't say it the way you do. And he says, so he registered the Canadian Firearms Network to get set up. But he says, how would you like to go and do it? He says, I can't do it. And so what has happened is Canadian Firearms Network has evolved into a bit of a business sort of thing. So I've got him doing the more clerk type stuff, the computer stuff, because I'm an idiot on a computer. And I have another buddy, Drew Bossy, who does all the events with me, and we head out to different things. And
what is the primary mission of the Canadian Firearms Network?
Our primary mission is to make people aware of the abuses that are being perpetrated against the Canadian people who have permits. We are not the gang.
Similar to the experiences that you went through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I use myself as I've actually had the chief firearms officers who actually make the decisions in government. They've actually said to me, not kidding, they've actually said, Don, you do not have to be a martyr. They know what I'm doing. They know what I use. They know that I'm using myself as a punching bag for all of my fellow Canadians. And so I use myself. I don't want to do it. I hate jail. The food's horrible, and there's some really nasty people in there. But the thing is I look at what our forefathers went through fighting in wars and getting shot at and freaking dying and losing arms and all that. They went and did all these things to stand up for freedoms. All I got to worry about is just standing up on Facebook and YouTube and saying, and I get thrown into jail. They're not walking up like I'm in communist China and putting a bullet in the back of my head with a Tokarev or something like that. So the thing is I figure I can handle the risk that is going to come with it. Also, the fact is, I don't have any children. I don't have a wife. I got a girlfriend, but the fact is I don't have a house that is on a mortgage. I don't have car payments, all these sort of things. So if a person gets arrested, the way the government and police use those opportunities to put pressure on you, because you got to pay the mortgage, you've got to take care of the wife and kids, you got to do this sort of thing, and that's
things that keep you, that make you hesitant to want to take risks.
You're going to stay in jail, and this sort of thing. And they use that stress of jail to break the people to surrender where their guns are.
Yeah, the people who have things to give up, or things to lose, they don't want to lose. Mm-hmm. So in essence, you're the martyr that Canadians deserve, or I'm sorry, not the hero they deserve, but the hero that they need. Mm-hmm. So what's that?
I'm just no prime example of the perfect Canadian by any means.
No human is perfect. No human is perfect.
Yeah, we do our thing and having fun with it. But the thing is people got to speak up, and I'm not a gun lobby. The Canadian Firearms Network is not a gun lobby. We're an activist and media type site. Mm-hmm. There's National Firearms Association, Canadian Coalition of Firearms Rights, and the Canadian Shooting Sports Association. They are the gun lobbies of Canada. But they have their limits, and they can't be seen pulling off some of the stunts and rallies and stuff that I might do. They do all the rallies, but I have a little more freedom to get a little more in people's face. The actual policy of... Go ahead.
Do you have support from them? Do they communicate with you?
Yes. Well, yes. Some of the people and some of the gun lobbies do phone me, and they tell me what they would like me to do, and just keep it on the side. And I go out and I get my friends, and we go and do whatever's got to be done to stir up interest. But there are some people in the gun lobbies that consider me an extremist because they're saying that I'm not willing to compromise. Well, the fact is, I am not willing to compromise. I'm not willing to get up saying, well, some politicians say, well, you can have those guns, but we're going to take these ones. I just don't work that way. My thing is they're all mine. I paid for them. I own them. They're not yours. The hell with this. I'm not obeying it. So there's the problem there.
Got a question for you. You told the story earlier about the first time you got raided and how your ex-girlfriend called you in. Is that common? I mean, people that don't own guns, do they call on their neighbors and just?
Well, what happens? It happens. I mean, of course, that girlfriend at the time was drunk, and she has apologized for it since. But yeah, that basically put a nail in our relationship pretty damn fast.
Right. It definitely creates trust issues.
Yes. So, but yeah, in Canada, in fact, they've brought in new gun legislation, new laws in Canada just this past month, where anybody can make any statement on you, and they can have the rights to raid your home. The government now used to just go back so many years on your history to see if you were a threat to society before they would issue a firearms permit of any sort. Now the Liberals are saying we want to be able to look over your entire lifetime to see if you did anything. Go back all the way. So that way they can use as another reason to ban more stuff. They just recently in May, May 2020, I believe it was, they brought in an order in council banning about 2,000 different types of firearms across Canada. So anything that is a person owned has now been reclassified as prohibited by order in council and must be turned over and surrendered to the government within 2 years, or otherwise you will face jail time. And this is a prime example. Okay, so this is an M14 clone. It's Chinese made. Okay, these are very popular in Canada, and the original Springfield original Springfield M1As are very expensive up here. It can cost you over $2,200 easily for one of those sort of things. So these Chinese ones, I mean, this is a little shorty one I got here too. So these have now been reclassified as prohibited. But so now the government is saying that we cannot use them, we cannot sell them, we cannot transport them.
We're coming up on the end of the segment here.
Yeah.
And I'd love to talk more about that when we get back and see if that. I'm curious to know if that has anything to do with the 2020 Nova Scotia attacks.
Yeah. And I have some questions about suppressors as well.
Yeah.
But we can talk about that when we get right back on the Gun Shop Show.
People are always asking me, Eli, you seem to get the best deals on things. What is your secret?
Glory actions and estate sales.
Trevor, I appreciate you jingling, but I have to say the ad part first because people need to know about the company.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to do it.
And then also, it's it's covering up my face. So just get a picture like from their Facebook page because that's the best place. And then just put it right up here where the Gun Shop Show logo is. Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'll do better this time.
And so let me finish the ad and then you can jingle. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the best place to go is their Facebook page.
Oh, glory actions and estate sales.
You know what? Fine. I'll just move in between the graphics and finish telling people that the best place to find out when
glory actions and estate sales. I think I got it that time, man.
Land is everything to me. When I was born, I was brought home to the family farm, was raised, learned work ethic there, learned appreciation and respect for life and the land itself, and it just became second nature. I had to be there all the time. Whenever I wasn't on the land, I was not happy. But I learned to understand the land, learned to respect it, learned family values. My wife and I have bought a farm besides the one we live on, and it has just been a great investment, and it's been someplace that my son and I have shared the passion of hunting together, and land has been everything in my life. It has kind of kept me focused and gave me a place to be. It's kind of kept me grounded.
Hey, you know what makes this, the Gun Shop Show, possible? It's people who believe in the show. And someone who has believed in the show from the very beginning is my good friend Chris Chapman, owner of Whitehead Farm Supply. Here's a message from Chris.
Guys, my name's Chris Chapman, owner of Whitehead Farm Supply, and I just want to take a few seconds here to let you know that we are going to be proud sponsors of the Gun Shop Show, and we appreciate everything that them guys are doing over there, and we just want to show them our support. Thank you.
So whether you have 2 chickens or 2,000 acres, Chris is your man. Give him a call. I guess that's pretty much the ad.
Whitehead Farm Supply.
Seriously?
Always.
I'm Lulu, and I watch the Gun Shop Show because all the fellers are handsome.
Logan Jones.
How's it going?
With his beautiful
Do you want
face.
to win
Yeah.
a gun?
I want to win a gun.
free gun?
Are you going to give me one of your guns? You're giving away one of your Qs, aren't you? If I share and tag you?
I don't know if I could ever do that.
Oh.
But we can talk about it.
Maybe one of these days.
What if you're one to enter in for a chance to win this beautiful Zagana PX9?
Zagana.
All you have to do is share the feed and tag 5 friends.
Wow.
It's that simple.
Jeez.
That's all it takes.
Wow.
And you
man.
could win a free gun. We're talking like this is like worth $350. Free for you.
It just got hot in here, man.
I did. Kind of, it was like ASMR almost.
I don't know if you're giving like relationship advice now
do
or.
you want to win free guns?
Hey, you.
Hey,
Sally.
how's it going?
Just say somebody's name and they'll instantly think you're talking about him.
Kevin, I'm looking at you, baby.
Hey, Kevbo. Anyway, we're having fun chatting it up with our friend Don Lindsay from the Canadian Firearms Network in Canada.
Talking about how crazy
we
Canada's
were.
been lately with firearms.
Man. It doesn't make for what you would consider to be a party of logic, or I maybe not consider, but might associate themselves with. They seem to lack it with regard to firearms. And before we were closing out, you were saying that in May of 2020 they just put through some more legislation. Was that in response to the 2020 Nova Scotia attacks?
They're using it as justification. They're using it all anything. But again, there's still no logic to it. Before, when they used to have, there was a dirtbag who pulled off a massacre years ago at the University of Polytechnique down in Quebec and shot, I think it was 13 women. And he used a Mini 14 when they brought, and that justified the reasoning to bring the so-called assault rifle ban back then in the 90s and sort of thing. But he used a Mini 14. And I mean, I bought my Mini 14 when I was 16 years old in 1981. And I paid $369 for this little puppy. I've loved this little gun. It's gone on many little adventures with me. It's not that accurate, but it's a great little bush gun. And so what happened is with the recent legislation in this May 2020, the government's going and banning everything they can, and so lots of the semi-automatic shotguns that look like an AR-15, they've gone prohibited. There are 22 caliber guns that look like an AR-15, they've gone prohibited. Our AR-15s, we used to be able to take these to the range, because before the AR-15s were restricted firearm in Canada, as always has been. We used to be able to take these to the range and fire these things off. And it was all perfectly legal. You treated them the same thing as a handgun, both registered restricted firearms. So what happened is when they brought this in, we can't even use them. We can't use them, sell them, transport them. So they want us to go and handle all these guns. And there's a lot of people who are saying they're not going to comply. They're going to hide their guns. They're going to do fake break-ins. They're saying all kinds of things. A lot of the guns, because of the way because of the firearms are being set up in Canada, they're just trying to confiscate every single thing they can get their hands on, and so it's caused quite a big uproar in Canada. But yes, the shooting that was in the East Coast there, now it's caused another controversy because the RCMP are blocking all the information on what happened in that event, because the people are saying the police were shooting them at people in fire halls. The police themselves were blasting at people all over the place. Gee. It wasn't just a shooter. Wow. Yeah, they put a whole bunch of bullets in the fire hall as the people were hiding in it. And they were, because the cops thought they were the bad guys. So the whole night was a big mess for 2 days. And the police are refusing to keep information and block it all.
So for people that don't know, what exactly happened?
I can give you the Wikipedia rundown.
Yeah. He got people set up as a police car, a fake police car, and he drove around, killed some people he didn't like, and the family and friends and stuff like that, and went on a rampage dressed as a police officer in his own fake police car, and then shot some police officers, killed some cops, and that sort of thing. And but the cops weren't informing the public. They didn't tell the public that there's a fake cop running around shooting people.
Wow. Yeah. There was not an alert ready. For not using the alert ready, the police were criticized. I'm reading that here. Interesting to me, he also committed arson, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's illegal in Canada, but yet he still did it. And also, I mean, I would assume that the only reason he did do it was because of the fact that those firearms were illegally accessible. I'm using sarcasm, of course.
Did they ban fire after that?
Again, I'm sure they did. You know, no more fire, guys.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a permit to go and buy a lighter.
It is pretty dumb overall. It doesn't make any sense. And I mean, I know that our government is not devoid of any guilt, or even police for that matter, for using violence against a people. I mean, it's even happened in Canada. I think recently it was discovered something to do. I can't recall exactly, but the Catholic Church and mass graves. There have been some Catholic church being burned down up there. And so, like, organizations, once they get powerful enough, they don't want to let go of that power, but they just get big enough to where they want to cause harm to people. And our governments are not you know.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying.
Yes.
You know that old thing about the governments and
immune is
yes.
what you're looking
Thank
for.
you, Alan.
Yeah.
Yes, they're not immune from that, and so we need to, whatever power we can keep in our hands, we need to. And anyway, I had a question about the Canadian Firearm Network that I wanted to ask you, and that is, so the mission of your group is to find and tell the story of people who have had similar situations to what you went through with regard to unjustified police.
They don't have to necessarily have gone through it. I want to inform people that this is how the government does behave.
Oh, okay.
I want people to know. Some guy says, "Oh, well, the police would never do that. The police would never do this. The police would never do that. The government would do that." fact is I can say, well, he did this to me, and all these other things have happened.
Do people that you
And so
find that go through this, do they go on record with your group, or do they try to?
No,
they
most
want to.
people
They don't want to.
I get calls all the time from people who are getting up on gun charges. I get calls all the time. Some people out in different provinces trying that somebody's died in the family and left them a gun, and they didn't have a gun permit, and then so because they didn't have it, the police raid them and charge them. Because see, in Canada, you're not even allowed to have one round of ammunition or any firearm unless you have a firearms permit. If you do get caught with it, that means you are now charged with possession of guns and ammunition without a permit, and they can throw you in jail. They can do all kinds of stuff. And and there's a number of people who get screwed over in these sort of things because people die and leave their guns behind, and the family gets it, and then they're calling me up like, I don't know what to do with these guns. I've got these things like that, and should I just go and take it to police? I'm going like, no, the hell, no. Contact me, and I mean.
Don Lindsay of Canadian Firearms Works has kind of become the de facto mentor for people who are in this weird limbo of, I don't know what to do, and they come to you.
Sounds to me
Canadian
like
Firearms
we need
Network.
to talk to our friends at U.S. Law Shield, and they need to start Canadian Law Shield.
I would say something needs to happen there. I mean, if you successfully were able to fight the legal issues there and get past them, then there might be some sort of collective that could be created that would, protect the rights of people, and they don't have to hide from the media when these things come out.
There is firearms insurance available in Canada in the regards of being raided and charged. But the thing is the insurance policies for gun insurance, for legal defense, only cover you if you are dealing with a legal firearm. If they charge you with a gun that's illegal, because it's been reclassified, and you went because you went and decided not to hand over your Chinese M14 and you went and hid the thing, and you get caught with it, then the insurance company says, well, you're void because you committed a criminal act by not complying with the government.
Right.
And there's that problem
U.S.
there.
Law Shield is just because it's their thing. I would just want to say they're not firearms insurance per their literature. I don't want to say that they are, but it's a similar thing. If you did anything erroneous or anything illegal, they're not going to have your back. You have to be acting in self-defense. You have to be complying with all laws, local laws and federal laws, for them to do anything for you. But essentially what it is they're a network of lawyers, and if you find yourself in a self-defense scenario and you have to act, they will come to your defense. Don, we are coming up on a break.
We're going to be right back. Let's continue the conversation on the Gun Shop Show.
I'm Lulu, and I watch the Gun Shop Show because all the fellers are handsome.
We all know that you are more than within your right to shoot an intruder that is in your home. However, what if you do everything right and once the smoke clears, the situation is not quite as it seemed? Well, that is exactly what happened to fellow member Isabella in this story.
So I just put my house on the market because I wasn't living in a good neighborhood and my home had been broken into before. One night, my realtor called and asked to show my home at 6:30. I thought, yeah, this is perfect. I'll go to the gym. When I got home around 8:15, I set the alarm and jumped in the shower. About 5 minutes later, the alarm went off. I rushed out of the shower to grab my gun. As I turned the corner, a man was standing near my front door in all black. I repeatedly yelled at him, "Leave or I'll shoot." Out of the corner of my eye, I saw someone else dart in front of him. He turned towards me, so I shot. Suddenly, I realized the second person was my realtor.
The truth is, you never know how events will unfold. Isabella was not criminally charged, but shortly after she faced a civil lawsuit. With the help of U.S. Law Shield, Isabella was advised through the whole legal process and paid 0 attorney's fees. Remember, criminals never take a vacation. Be armed, stay educated, and get protected with U.S. Law Shield.
Welcome back to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what time it is?
It's time
It's
to
giveaway
see the thing. Oh, the
no,
giveaway.
it's giveaway time. Yeah,
Man,
we need to do it.
I'm
for
not
our
getting
last
very
segment
good at
because
this.
whatever.
Who's the winner?
Who is the winner?
Last week we were giving away a $100 gift card.
Oh,
We're
I
gonna
thought it was
announce the winner.
$100,000. That's what I told everybody is a $100,000 gift card.
100,000, not U.S. currency.
Subtract 999.
Anyway, it's a $100 gift card to Liberty Tree Guns, and that winner, drum roll please, is Krisha Jack. Krisha Jack, congratulations! You're the winner of the $100 Liberty Tree gift card. Appreciate you supporting us. Just reach out to us or come see us in the store, and we'll get you hooked up with that gift card. Okay. And once again, we're giving away this Zagana PX9. Share the feed, tag 5 friends, get entered in for a chance to win that. Odds are pretty good. You might as well do it. It takes all of like 6 to 7 seconds. Super easy.
Yeah, very little effort for such a large payoff.
Here's your effort. If you're on the radio, it's barely any.
Like less than an inch.
And then here's your payoff. You can't even see it.
Wow, that's like that's got to be like 14 to 18 inches of effort.
Yeah, it's a good ratio.
It's a pretty good ratio.
That's the ratio you want for giveaways.
I think so.
For sure. What were we talking about?
We're talking about
Gun
Don
stuff?
Lindsay,
Don Lindsay
and the
guns?
Canadian Firearms Network, and he wants to tell us a little bit about his activism.
Yeah, let's talk about what you're doing.
So, where I've gotten to some controversy, as I said, the gun lobbies have their positions in Canada. Gun lobbies deal specifically with the governments and all these sort of things trying to change our legislation. And I fully support them. I don't pick sides in the gun lobbies. I just try to tell people, if necessary, join all three. Join all three major gun lobbies in Canada. And
What are the gun
just for your
lobbies
support.
in Canada? What are the 3 major ones?
There'd be the there's the National Firearms Association, Canadian Shooting Sports Association, and the Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights. But the problem is they have their limits of what they can do. And also, it's not necessarily in a personal sort of activism as I do. And where I've caught some controversy and some flack from some people in the gun lobbies who consider me extremist is because I've taken the position of my attacks on my family and this sort of thing. And what has happened is I go to there's a show called TACCOM, TACCOM. That's gun manufacturers, dealers, distributors, everything. A massive gun show that was going on in Canada until COVID shut us down. And I did that for 2 years. And the guy who runs it was asked me to come in and do the media at it. So what happened is I go in, I'm meeting all the business owners. I had one guy come up to me and the guy says, "You're the guy that took the oath. You're the guy of the oath." And what he was referring to is there's a picture of me floating around loading some 50 caliber Browning mags for a $20,000 bolt action I was playing with a big Schmidt and Bender scope, beautiful gun. But anyway, I had a picture of that and my quote on it, my oath, and it says, "This is my oath. And quite frankly, this is how I view things. I will not honor, obey, serve, or protect the Canadian government because of what it has done to myself, my family, and my fellow Canadians, all in the name of gun legislation. Until the Canadian government starts respecting we, the gun owners of Canada, I will keep my oath and I will not comply." And so that's as close to treason, I guess, in a way, as you can say. The fact is it's not a treason act. My allegiance is the Canadian people. It's not to those morons in government who on a whim can legislate everything we own is prohibited and have it taken from us, and attacking my families for, like I said, my family heirlooms I've taken from my grandfather took off Nazis and brought it back. The government took them, raided them, terrorized my family. Making that oath is a personal thing, and I encourage people to adopt it and modify it to whatever they want. Another thing that's caused some conflict is because of in the United States, you got police officers down there who will stand for an issue. on pro-gun rights, and they will openly talk, and you'll have chiefs of police and all this sort of thing saying we will not enforce these abusive gun legislation and orders put in by Biden or whoever the hell wants to do it. Up here, our police officers are pretty much silent. They will not say anything. They're completely muzzled. You do not get any police officers really standing up to say anything in support of the pro-gun community. Yet when you go to a range and they said, oh, yeah, well, we got lots of law enforcement officers who believe what you guys believe and we support it. But yet, those will be the same police officers who will crash through our door at 4:30 in the morning if somebody goes and says, well, that guy has a newly reclassified firearm. And I'm figuring, well, how can you say that you stand for you're a gun owner and a police officer and standing for the rights and freedoms of the people of your nation when everything you're doing is basically a drone of that kind of attitude of following an abusive government that comes and reclassifies our lifestyles as prohibited and everything else? And I honestly cannot say that I'd have any respect for the Canadian police, because there's too many people in our police agencies who will not do a damn thing. And
are your police agencies nationalized?
We have the Ontario Provincial Police. There are, I believe, some other agencies across Canada. Probably each province has their own local police, but largely it's those and the RCMP. The problem is the RCMP is highly unaccountable. Years ago, there was a big controversy over the High River, Alberta. There was floods there. And the RCMP sent people in and kicked in the doors and walked through the houses with dirty boots and across beds and all that, smashing through doors and walls looking for guns and stealing the guns from homes while the homeowners had been evacuated because of the flooding. And Stephen Harper gave the police absolute hell for it and told them to give the guns back. But that's a police agency making these decisions to do it while the people were fleeing from their homes. And so you can see the attitude of our cops. They're not in line with supporting the Canadian people. They do it for whatever their agency wants. And quite frankly, our grandparents in World War II went to fight that kind of attitude. We sent people overseas to kill people who were doing that kind of abuse. And our police agencies now are doing it. Justin Trudeau, the piece of crap prime minister we have now, he's praised China about how they run their government and the fact that they can just impose things on the people that they want. And he believes our prime minister loves that kind of communist dictator attitude, and he's now pulling this crap on us. The laws that they just brought in recently are to further restrict what we say. In fact, the stuff that I'm saying on here, because I'm making admissions to violating certain laws over the years, they can use that against me to take my firearms permit. I put myself at great risk even having this conversation. I'm aware of this. I know I'm making myself a target. But the other thing is the police officers that have been pulling this crap, because honestly, I've had cops grab me by the throat and throw me in the vehicles while I'm all handcuffed and give me crap about being a gun enthusiast and all sort of thing, and cops lying on documents in court and this sort of thing. And the policy, what has evolved is that this is the policy of the Canadian Firearms Network. If any of my people in Canada are raided, charged, have anything confiscated, or any of this crap brought down by these politicians and police agencies, I want these people to give me the name of the police officer, their picture, and where they live, work, play, and pray. And I will send a media crew to talk to them at their church if necessary about their attitude and how they're treating their fellow Canadians. And I've had people freak at me over that. I had messages. One message came in from the California Highway Patrol giving me crap for it. But the way I see it is that if people do not speak up against abuses and stuff and their things, we're just going to keep going backwards and backwards into time. Yep. The time of Hitler-type mentalities. We got these attitudes across Europe with abusive police agencies. It happens all over the world. And I'm trying to take a stand verbally. I'm not using this to go out and force my viewpoint on people. I am using my mouth to do it. I'm using my acts of defiance. And people say to me, oh, you can't go out and harass and threaten the police officers and their families. I said, wait a sec.
With a conversation.
If a politician...
A conversation is a threat. Yeah.
But then our Canadian government's made it so. But the thing is that if a person can go out from the CBC, or you got shows like 60 Minutes and 2020 and all these sort of investigative journalism type shows that go out and they'll chase after a person pushing a shopping cart and saying, "Excuse me, sir, you went and committed fraud," or something like that, or "You went and abused a bunch of children while you're a senator," or something like that. They will. That's not threatening them. That's not harassing them. That's investigative journalism. And I'm speaking on behalf of angry gun enthusiasts across Canada who have been abused by this legislation. So if I have to go and knock on some cop's door and I got a bunch of people standing on the sidewalk, and I tell them, do not walk on their property, do not threaten them, do not spit on their property, don't even throw a cigarette butt on it, don't do anything to thing, and we'll send up a few people and knock on the door and say, "Excuse me, we'd like to talk to you." And that's the thing. Now, so far, I haven't had to do that. But the fact is that is our policy, and I am willing to do it. And I have the people willing to stand up behind me and do the thing.
I'd say go ahead and start doing it, because it sounds to me like you have plenty of people to be talking to. And yeah, as Logan said, that is brave. And I mean, there's no better time than the present. Start organizing, start getting people talking to people.
Someone's got to do it. It might as well be you.
And film everything. Go live. Don't film it and store it on your phone. I would go live with it and get it saved in the cloud. I mean, it probably will get taken down, but there are ways to get that put in many places. Actually, Don, we are coming up on the end of the second hour of the show, and we have what we call the show drive. And after this break, it'll just be until we're done talking. And so if you want to stick around for that, we'd love to have you.
All right.
Cool.
Great show, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Actually, going to have a little bit of shoulder drive this week.
Yeah, a little baby shoulder drive.
Little baby shoulder drive.
Listening to Don's story makes me glad that I'm American.
Gun Shop Show.
Mic drop.
The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. What is it? We don't know. The Gun Shop Show, the Gun Shop Show. Here we go, it's the Gun Shop Show.
Oh, like tradition.
Drink Cam.
Shoulder drive, sip Cam. It's back. Welcome back to the Gun Shop Show. We're doing the shoulder drive, and we haven't done that in what?
It's been like two eps.
A month.
Two
or
eps.
something. No, it's been a long.
3 eps.
Wow.
4 eps.
It's been like a month.
A lot of eps.
No shoulder drive.
Too many eps.
But we were having such a great conversation. We need to have a shoulder drive and talk about this.
Absolutely. Our friend Don Lindsay from
our
the
friends
Canadian
up north. Yeah.
Yeah. Our friends to the north, the Canadians, eh? Hey, I heard a good story the other day, Don, about the origin of the name of your country. And you tell me if this is true or not. But I guess the founding fathers were sitting around. They're like, all right, we don't know what to call it, but we know we want it to have a C, eh? An N, eh? And a D, eh? Is that true?
That's quite possible, eh?
That's exactly what happened.
Hey.
Also, we learned about Canadian Tire. How prominent is Canadian Tire up there?
Well, Canadian Tire is a very prominent. It's kind of like Walmart. However, Walmart's all over the place there now.
Right.
But Canadian Tire was more hardware type than not a food place.
Oh, okay.
They sold guns.
It's kind of like the Lowe's or
They
Home
sold a number
Depot.
of guns.
Gotcha.
But this is the sad part about it, is due to the government's gun legislation and stuff that's gone on with Canadian Tire and any other business that is licensed to sell firearms, a number of them have decided to get right out of the whole gun business. Canadian Tire now in Mississauga Beach here only sells ammunition. They've taken any real firearms out of it. The benefit to me, though, is that, well, the rack I have behind me that covers here to here, I got a whole bunch of guns. They took all their display cases from Canadian Tire sitting there, and all the guns were out. I walked up and I said, "Hey, how much you want for the display cases, just for the racks?" And the guy said, "This rotor says, well, how about $75 for all 3?" I was like, "Here we go." So now I've got all these gun racks going for my own walk-in gun vault that I'm building right now.
Nice.
And,
Similar thing down here. Walmart stopped selling firearms, and as soon as they did, Liberty Tree Guns got rich with spinning gun cases, because we got to buy the spinning gun cases. So now we have this magnificent spindle case where you just do this and 500 guns.
Yeah, but see, your guns are accessible.
Guns
per case. 500 guns per case.
And
400
guns
per case.
right?
Sorry.
So your spindle thing had your guns sitting in the aisle, and the guns would spin around, right? But you can physically touch them. In Canada, they have to be behind a glass.
Well, these are behind glass, and they're locked up for the most
we don't
part.
necessarily have to do that. We just choose to do that.
Yeah.
It's a little safer for the guns.
Right. Yeah. A little. Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey, Don, I was curious. You talked about those aliens earlier that took your guns. Yeah. We just recently, the U.S. government released some info that, there have been some UFO sightings. And so did those aliens, did they have weapons? Did they have guns? Did they have like ray guns or, laser guns? Do we need to probe
the bottom of this UAP thing right here on the Gun Shop Show?
In case they come take our guns?
I didn't let them take any of my guns.
So they weren't armed?
If you aliens don't come up and probe me, I'll take your shooting. So I took all these guys from Mars out, and we went out for a blast.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
So they were unarmed.
They were just chilling with you.
Yeah. They refused to probe you, huh?
They're anti-probe now.
Yeah.
They're all done. They're wrapped on probing, Alan. They got all the probing done.
Okay.
That's what they tell me anyway.
And this brings up a bit of this humor here brings up a bit of another controversy as far as the gay LGBTQ issues. I guess on both sides of the border and around worldwide are a big thing. I mean, I'm a straight guy. I've been rather promiscuous through my life, I should say. But one thing I did raise up on the Canadian Firearms Network is I've shared some articles about different things, and I said, there doesn't matter who you are or what lifestyle you are. You have the same human right to protect yourself and your family and those around you, whether you know them or not. There's a human right to protect people. The human right to protect people existed before any government ever existed on this planet.
Yep.
And so I said these people who are in the LGBT community have the same rights as we do, whether we agree with their lifestyle or not. And then the first response is that some guy comps up and says shouldn't have guns. And I said, well, wait a sec. I said, if I'm standing out on Parliament Hill with a sign, and hang on a sec, I have this sign pole, okay? And I walk around with this big sign pole, and they call it my Moses stick. And I walk around when I do my gun shows and gun lobbies and stuff like that. I walk around like Moses with my stick, and I don't have a booth. I walk around. I walk all the things through all the vendors, and they're covering different things. When I go to Parliament Hill or Queen's Park or any public bank, that sign walks with me, and I go through it all. And what I was saying to these people is that if I'm out on Parliament Hill and I'm standing for the rights of Canadians to enjoy their firearms and freedoms, why should it matter to me if the man standing beside me happens to be gay and he's carrying the same sort of pro-gun signs for our similar rights? It's not like he's going to reach out and pinch my ass. We're standing there for our own personal rights. His lifestyle is his. I don't ask him what he did with his junk. He doesn't ask me what I do with my junk. The fact is we're standing there.
Yep.
We're standing there for human rights and our rights to protect our rights and freedoms. And so I can still go out after the event and sit down with this guy and have a beer with him at a bar. I'm not going to sleep with him. We're out there to talk gun legislation and standing up for the same thing. And I had some people get angry at me for taking such a stance. But the fact is, it's just being real. And I don't have a problem with it. Yeah. I actually tried to contact the Pink Pistols down in the States, and I was trying to see if there's any groups in Canada. Apparently there is one down in Toronto, but I haven't seen any of them yet. But
we haven't been able to get the Pink Pistols on yet, but we did have Chris Chang on, and he was a Top Shot champion, self-taught, former Google executive, and he's also an advocate for. I'm sorry.
He recently on the cover of Coil magazine, I think it was.
Yes, he was. There's a bit of a controversy over it.
Yes, I remember seeing that.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's ridiculous to think that it should even your choice and what you do in the privacy of your home should have any bearing on whether or not you can defend yourself are like oil and vinegar in my mind. It shouldn't even matter. This shouldn't even be a conversation. But for some reason, it bothers enough people that they need to be up in arms over, pardon the pun, over those sorts of topics. So, I mean, I'm glad to know that, you know, in the Canadian world with regards to firearms, there is movements that are all inclusive and aren't saying, well, you know, there's second classes of people who should be able to defend themselves, people who are this way, but not people who are that way.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, even if you apply it to
It's just speaking up on issues. We're humans. People do what they do.
Right.
And another thing that a controversy was the National Rifle Association made some comments about saying that, well, if people get their marijuana permits, they shouldn't have their gun permit. And I was seeing this thing going out across the media, and I'm figuring, wait a sec. Every time I watch the news, and I watch a lot of American news because, quite frankly, our Canadian news suck. There's not much happening here. I try to watch what's going on. Americans are more entertaining because they're usually doing something stupid, like in Florida. It's usually something.
Florida's crazy.
Florida, man.
Florida's its own thing.
But I see the thing, so I try to stay aware of what's going on with it. But I figure I was going with this, but oh geez, now I've lost myself. But it's just basically I try to raise issues to make people aware of things and be open about it. And when the NRA went and made the comment about the marijuana, I'm saying, wait a sec, on all these news stations I watch on CBS and NBC and all that, every commercial between is for medication. Every commercial.
Yeah, it's okay if Big Pharma's behind it.
But they always have these things that saying may cause suicidal tendencies, may cause death, may cause anything. All these different things. I'm saying the people in the NRA are saying that you can't have your pot and your permit should be pulled, but yet you can go and take all these freaking drugs that will kill you and cause your minds to think suicidal and everything. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I called the thing out. I said, look, if I go out with my friends, and because we regularly do this, I think it was the first gun-oriented people in Canada to start raising this issue up front and admit it. I'm no hypocrite. And I said, if I go with my buddies and we're out down at the freaking range and we're blasting out in some beautiful spot out in the lake, because we go up to Crown Land out in the middle of the forest, and we have a shooting area, and then we go back and I have a kitchen tent and I put gas power slow cookers and deep fryers and freaking everything there. And everybody can use the community tent kitchen. I have an outhouse. I dig a hole and I put a tent over it with a lawn chair and a toilet seat. And so it's an outhouse tent. After it, I put the dirt back in so there's no crap all through the forest. And that's like it's disgusting. Anyway, so I set it up. So after we do all our shooting and we come back and we put our guns away, then we pull out our bottles of whiskey, pull out our beers, roll up our doobies. Do some people, if they want to go do mushrooms, let them go shroomies. The guns are away. Go enjoy yourself. It's your weekend. Go have fun. Hop in your canoe. Go out and playing your dirt bikes, all that. There's a time for everything. So the fact is that I don't to go out and shoot and then come back with your friends afterwards and sit about the fun we had and smoke some doobies and have some, Ryan Cokes and this thing. To me, there's nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely not. What you're describing is responsible gun ownership and just responsible human being activity. The vast majority of people the vast majority of people take part in some sort of recreation that will, inhibit their what would normally be something that would keep them from doing something. Like they drink wine, they drink beer, they do other drugs, etc., etc. So it's a natural human activity. I mean, the fact that you're saying I draw a line between guns and these things without the interaction of a federal government, is the way that is a utopian situation in my mind. That's the way that it should be. People being responsible for their own actions and not trying to go around it's not like you're like, you know what, guys, let's not go to the lake and shoot today. Let's go around and find people who are shooting guns and try to make them stop, because that's more fun and that makes more sense.
Now, we're not advocating for drinking, smoking marijuana, doing shrooms, and also shooting guns at the same time.
No, not at all.
No. Just be responsible about it. Shoot your guns, then do whatever you want to do, or do whatever you want to do.
Time and place for everything.
Time and place.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I can tell you one thing I do like about Canada. Labatt's Blue and Moosehead beer.
Labatt's Blue. I don't think I've ever had Labatt's.
I haven't either.
Oh, I love Labatt's.
You're not
It's
missing
only good in
anything.
Canada.
Only
They
good
tried
in
to
Canada.
import it. They tried to import it here, and it's just not the
Hey,
same.
buddies, I drink Budweiser, okay?
Really?
I drink,
Man, if I could have a
Budweiser
Moosehead, I'd have a Moosehead over a Budweiser any day.
I don't think I'm familiar with Moosehead.
I'm not either.
I drink whiskey and green mint tea, a little bit of liquid honey, and a splash of milk, and it's become our official Canadian Firearms Network drink. In these big mugs, we sit around and drink these whiskey teas. And the thing is that how that evolved is and of course, we'd go about now shooting. Everybody's sitting around the campfire, and the tune's going. And my buddy's going, "How come you keep drinking teas?" And I said, and he's sitting there doing shots, and and I said, "Look, I made him a tea, and he had a few more of them, and he was ripped pretty good." And he says, "Dude," he says, "these teas are awesome." I said, "Well, I told you, it's just."
Sounds to me like something that the Canadian Firearms Network might want to throw up on your website if you can sell those things.
Yeah. Well, this is the funny thing about it. I like my dad has a 3-pound Napoleon Civil War cannon with the big wagon wheels on it.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm refinishing it right now. I'm refinishing the thing right now in the garage. But it's got a 2 3/4 inch bore or 3 inch, somewhere around there. And but we generally just fire blanks out of it or shot type stuff. We don't put anything in it because we don't want to put the pressures too high with something we don't trust. But we'll put 3 ounces of black powder in it and run the wicks down there and stand there with the one and set the thing off. But I haul it on a trailer behind my 97 Tahoe with gun signs all over it. And haul this thing up in the forest, and we leave the cannon in the campsite, whereas the shooting zone is farther minutes down where we go. So what happens is we don't really like people doing any gunfire at all in the campsite. We don't want anybody playing with it. This is the quiet zone. And the only gun that gets fired is the cannon. So when everybody's sitting around and relaxed, my dad, who's crippled, who can barely walk and this sort of thing, he'll hobble over and we'll load the cannon up, and we put blanks in it usually, and we fire it over the lake so the embers don't set the forest on fire. Smart. And where we are, there's never anybody around. We got the lake to ourselves. So we fire this cannon off, and it's just like, sounds like a bomb going off. It's so loud, it just echoes for miles. But that's the only thing we discharge at the campsite, and everybody's just like hooting and hollering and firing off the cannon, but we don't do anything else. It's all it goes really well. The locals up there who have other cottages say we can always tell when the Canadian Firearms Network guys are up there because it sounds like World War III going off. With all the fire.
It certainly should help you kind of keep into perspective if you're a distant person of what the real world ramifications are of combat going on, and maybe those instances can serve as a stark reminder of where we don't want to be. And we keep regulating and keep creating laws and keep oppressing people, and eventually that's what will happen, because the only way you're going to relieve that pressure of all of that oppression is through violence. At least that's what history has told us so far. Very few revolutions have taken place peacefully and without any combat that I can think of.
Well, I've never served in the military. I've never served in any of the cadets. My brother was always in with the military base here, base board, and he trained out there for years, shooting long distance, doing a lot of stuff. And he was with the Auxiliary Police in Barrie, Ontario, and so my brother was more orientated to that sort of crowd, and I was half of the guys running Chevys with 454s in and 44 super swappers, and we were mudding it, and we were taking our AKs out and blasting in swamps, and we were more of a different style of gun enthusiast. And my dad, with his Western thing, was involved with all the mountain man stuff and all the furs and all these cap and ball stuff, and we got Colts and Remingtons, and friggin' having some fun with some big long muskets.
Very cool.
But so my dad's thing is the Western style, and so we each have our own kick. But I like to have fun, and that's the thing. This is my little Rate 70. It's got a 12.5-inch Dominion Arms barrel on it. Dominion Arms is a Chinese-made one, but their barrels, their guns are pretty close. But this is a Remington. This one here. what I modify with just a bunch of old parts and stuff. But I've taken this thing camping for many years because I love winter camping, and people complain about this big grip on the front. But the way I like it is because if I'm wearing mitts and it's minus 27, minus 30, it's an easy thing to grab because I'm out in the snow, and when I get up to my campsite, I just literally hang it right off a tree, right beside my campsite. If there's a problem, I'll put some buckshot or some slugs on it, and that's my camping gun that I take out. And
I think if it was minus 17 or minus 20, I think I would much rather have one of your tees.
Remember,
or
I'm talking Celsius.
Or a heater with me, not the shotgun, Don. Sorry about that.
You're talking Celsius?
Minus 30 Celsius. Like, it's cold.
Yeah.
And
it's cold.
So I'm out in those things, and I absolutely love winter camping. I've got tents out in the backyard that I built that I've left out there for a year just to test to see how the strength and materials work with the different stuff.
At what temperature does it stop feeling any colder?
I don't know. I think it's cold.
He hasn't figured it out yet.
When we had that little cold spur back here, and it was like it felt like negative 18. Was negative 18 correct?
Yeah.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah, it had never felt colder to me then, but it's hard for me to grasp it being any colder than that and feeling colder.
Well, I've adapted my camping styles, and because I always go alone, I've just figured out how to do certain things and how to keep myself going out in those sort of temperatures. And I mean, I've been so cold, my hands like this, I couldn't even work a lighter. And and unfortunately, I have a tent design for my survival stuff. I slid into the thing, and I just slipped into this little friggin' shelter. I have my toboggan, and I just warm myself up. And when I get all warmed up, I go back out. The reason I got so cold is because I was testing a different type of clothing. The test didn't work out very well. It's a lesson. Everything's a lesson. So even this year, I had I had a campsite just not far from my house, but it overlooks a valley of 3 valleys coming in and creeks running through, and there's deer and coyote. There's a big cat running around there somewhere. And I go stay in the forest and put my shelter up, and I left my shelter there, and I just go back every weekend, and my place is ready for me to go and crawl in and sleep in the snow. And I just sit out there for hours all night, just enjoying the beauty of nature. And I'm not even shooting at all. I'm just enjoying nature. But I always have a firearm with me because I don't know what might be walking.
I'm sure you've got woodland creatures out there that may not be human friendly, and you want to defend yourself. I'm sure. Do you have bears where you're at?
Oh yeah.
And I hear they like
they never
people.
bothered me.
Yeah.
I've seen bears and stuff, all kinds wandering around. But so far, nothing's never attacked me. They've come close to walking up on me.
Yeah.
But they just sort of stand there and look at me, and I talk to them and all that. Mm-hmm. And they just sort of wander off.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen the grizzly man, but don't get too familiar with him because it doesn't turn out well. We were earlier, and we brought up the topic of enthusiast versus hunter. And Logan, you had some thoughts on that, and I'm just wondering if you guys could tell me more about that.
Did I have thoughts on that?
Yeah, you said that sometimes hunters feel as though certain guns aren't necessary.
Yeah, so my point was that you have hunters that like using firearms only for hunting, and then you have enthusiasts who just like firearms, just like shooting. Now, enthusiasts can also be hunters. That happens a lot, but there's some people that are just hunters. They're not necessarily gun enthusiasts. They just hunt. Mm-hmm. And one of my issues that I had was that hunters see it from only the perception of, can I hunt with it? Would it make sense to hunt with? And then you're using that mindset, you're able to kind of check off a bunch of guns that in their mind wouldn't make sense to hunt with, like an AR-15 or an AK, even though those make pretty good hunting rifles depending on what you're hunting.
Right. And just so that we're not being too inclusive, you're not saying all hunters think this. You're saying that there are factions
there's
within.
a small minority of hunters that think this, that seem pro-gun on the surface, but they're only pro-gun for certain guns. They're not all guns.
Right. What's good for me is good enough, and the rest can go bye-bye.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be like, we want bolt-action rifles. We want shotguns. Mm-hmm.
those people are illogical in many ways because they go on and say, okay, well, this is a Lee Enfield jungle carbine. Okay, paid $80 for it. Got scored.
Yeah.
Some guy walked in a phone shop,
90 for it,
and I seen it, and I could say, well, and a Corvette, and I seen the butt sticking out, and I recognized as a military butt. So I followed him out the parking lot and said. So I said, "Hey, what do you want for that?" And I grabbed this thing, Lee Enfield. So guys who are hunters will say, "Okay, well, it's fine to go and hunt with that because it's got a wood stock. It's fine to go out and take stuff out." But then if I've got this little freaking marshmallow sticker on it, and I've got this this is the M44 Polish, and if I had 7.62 by 54 rim, if I go and take those things out, then they're saying, okay, well, that's still kind of a hunting gun because it's wood stock again. I mean, their reasoning on the thing is of I look at things as calibers. I look at the efficiency of the gun. It doesn't matter to me if it's made of plastic or it's made wood. The fact is that we have to recognize that these are the evolutions of technology, of strength of materials, different things. I mean, the new guns now are coming out with specialized alloys and carbon fibers, and things have changed. I mean, when you look at the Kel-Tec Sub 2000, I mean, I've had a lot of fun with this, and this thing's been great. I really haven't had any problems with it. I haven't had any jams with it. It's been a fantastic little gun. But people will look at it and they're going, "Oh my God, that's a machine gun. That's an assault rifle." And so I think it's just something to go up and plink cans with. To me, I don't see it. I find that the attitude that Logan was talking about with the hunters and saying, "Well, that's not a Remington 700. That's just too. If it looks scary, then it should be banned."
Yeah.
Well, this thing here, I can put this thing up and just whip it up at 100 yards, and I'm freaking popping cans off with that without any effort. I've hunted before the so-called assault rifle ban. I used to hunt groundhogs with a Steyr and a converted AK and Type 56 and variant there, but they were great guns. The groundhog doesn't care when he's getting split in half. You think the groundhog cares if he's getting hit by a freaking Winchester Model 70 or if he's getting hit by a freaking T97? The groundhog doesn't care. And so they're still hunting. You're still hunting. And these people that get worked up and things, they're focused. They're doing what the liberals do. They're using their eyes to control their brains, and there's what the problem is. They're letting their emotions take control of
logic,
what they're trying to reason. There is no reasoning to it. To me, a gun's a gun.
Yeah, and one thing I find.
The other thing. Why can't I take this out hunting? Why can't this 44 Magnum Ruger Super Blackhawk with a 10-inch barrel go hunting? Yet I've got a Winchester 44 Magnum lever action Trapper model sitting over, fires the same ammunition, and like, I should be able to take. You can hunt with this. This would be a great hunting gun.
Yeah,
it's just the government is legislative where we can't do it. The same as the AR-15s. We couldn't take these out hunting. They wouldn't let us take them out hunting. We could only use at the range. Now we can't even use them at the range. It's
all illegal,
stupid.
just in case.
One thing I find ironic about now, once again, this isn't all hunters. This is just a small minority. They don't think you can take an AR-15 hunting, but they take a bolt-action rifle that has a far more effective caliber, like a 30-06 or 270, that's far deadlier, and they use that to hunt with compared to like a little 223 bullet. It just, if they're going off sheer firepower, they're completely ignorant to the fact that the AR, the 223 round, 5.56 round, isn't necessarily the best round for killing.
It's not. No, I love this gun here. This is, like I said, the AG. This is the AG-42 6.5 by 55, and I obviously love this gun. This is it's just got such a weird action on it, and it's smooth. It's just a beautiful gun to fire with. I have more faith in the accuracy and hitting the things with that than I do on a 223.
But the bigger
again, that gun's from the 1930s.
Yeah, the bigger point about this is it doesn't really matter what you think you should use to hunt with. I mean, I feel like hunting is more of a sport, and there should be certain parameters. You shouldn't just go out with your AR-15 with 30 rounds and just be blasting animals. You should take them humanely, one shot, so they don't suffer. That's how I feel about it. But it doesn't matter about hunting because the Second Amendment, at least for us, was never about hunting. It was about being able to defend yourself
from a tyrannical government.
From a tyrannical government, using whatever means necessary, and that includes firearms.
Right. And if it ever comes down to that, trust me, people will use whatever means necessary. You take something from us, guess what? We'll find something else to use because that's the human condition. That's just how we are. We will.
Hunting just happens to be a side effect of firearms. It has nothing to do with firearms per se, or at least the Second Amendment right.
Right. Well, I agree with that.
Made it easier.
We've been out shooting. My buddy Drew.
Bows and arrows.
Addles.
Yeah, the addle. Rocks, slingshot.
Just kidding.
I got my partner at the Canadian Firearms Network is other than like David Brown's the one guy who does the more computer stuff, but my other buddy is Drew Bossy. And Drew and I go out. We've been out there shooting and having our Chinese M14s or whatever we were playing with, blasting some cans and stuff. And we had a moose walk out of the forest off to the side of the range, walked right by it. We stopped shooting, let the moose walk on down the road, went back to shooting. Like it was just, we're out there. We didn't have to kill nothing. There's no reason to, to blast any. And when I used to hunt, like I was 20 years old, I had a motorcycle and I had some leather saddlebags on it. And I had my Mini 14 with the folding stock on one side, and I had my Type 56 AK variant on the other side. And I put a shopping bag over the top ballistic band so that nobody would see the gun barrels. They just stuck out of the bags a bit. And I had them trigger locked and all that sort of thing. But I'd ride around all these back farm fields up here, looking around. And when I seen the groundhogs, I'd pull into the farm property and ask the landowner, say, hey, do you mind if I go out and take care of your groundhogs? And they say, okay, sure. Just don't hit the animals, the cattle or whatever.
Sure.
And then he said, but where's the gun? And so I'd pull out the guns out of the saddlebag. And he's going like, I've never seen a gun like that before. And I'd go out, and of course there was no magazine limits back then, so I'd be out with 30 round mags, that sort of thing. And if I have a groundhog, I mean they're not that big, they're tiny little buggers.
Yeah.
The sights on these military guns aren't that accurate with this sort of thing, and Mini 14's notoriously not accurate. And I wasn't running scopes or anything, so I would go out into the field, and I figured anybody could go out and buy themselves a 270 or a 243 with a 12-power scope and look right down the nostrils of the groundhog at 200 yards, and like some sniper off on the tree line, and the groundhog doesn't stand a chance. And the way I did things is I would walk out, I'd have it all at the ready, and just walk out in the field, and I wouldn't hide. I'd just walk nice and slow with my gun at the ready, and I'd just walk. And then the groundhogs would sit up and would look at me, and I wouldn't raise the gun to my shoulder until they started running. And once they ran, then I was just on them, and then and that's where I'd use the fun of the semi-auto. And generally, where I'm hunting, I was always aware of a hillside in the background. It wasn't flat plain. I always try to keep the thing. So when we wanted to use the capabilities of that rapid fire, that's where I would have it. So sometimes the groundhogs would just start running, and I'd let a burst, like just let a whole bunch go, and sometimes they get away. Sometimes they make it down the hole. Sometimes they'd literally be split right in half. So that's where I use the fun of the 223 and the semi-autos and the high-capacity magazines. But it's not like I was shooting up the whole field and not being aware of my backstop and hitting somebody's house down in that field. Everything always has to pre-calculated before you even take on that venture of pulling the trigger.
So
and to me, it's like, if I was going to, in fact, years ago, and I've kicked myself ever since, this one gun shop, before they banned them, they had an MG42 converted to semi-automatic, and they were selling it for $800 back before the assault rifle. Beside it was a Bren gun for $700. They had Thompson submachine guns converted to semi-automatic for $470 sitting on the floor, but they were classified as restricted like a handgun. I should have bought them. But anyway, I was going to buy the MG42, 8mm belt fed. I was going to buy that as my moose hunting gun. And the reason being, I was going to take that 20-pound thing out and put it down and just sit there. And I figure if the moose comes out, I'm still going to only whack it once or twice, but I want it. It's kind of like a guy driving a Ferrari around town. Sure, it has the performance, but he still has to drive the same speed limit as everybody else in town.
Right.
He can't be a maniac with it. And so that's I'm a gun enthusiast. It wasn't the fact that I could put the bullet through the ear of the deer. It's the fact that I was having fun with a specific type of firearm while I was hunting. That's why really I stopped hunting, because I was finding that killing an animal is easy. You'll bang and the animal's down to me. Okay, if you want to take the time and crawl in and do all the sense and really do it, you're going to get it. You're going to get the animal. I just personally preferred I like it when I'm snowshoeing. I see the animal around and I got my food with me. My thing was not the hunting. My thing was all about the gun I was having fun with. And that's when you talk about enthusiasts versus hunters. There's reasons why we carry certain things. It's not necessarily because we all want to be the most accurate person in the world. Some of us want to have a freaking old classic and just have some fun with it.
For sure.
Don, while you were tooling around on your motorcycle, were you wearing riding leathers and high-top riding boots? I was picturing Mad Max. I
was riding a Suzuki 850 with drag bars and 4-to-1 headers on it. Full face.
Well, Don, we are grateful.
Last time I had a Harley.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
It was a 1958 Harley I had too.
Wow,
that's pretty sweet.
I used to have a 58 pan head bottom, 67 shovel heads, and I was 23 when I had that, and that was the last time I ever had a Harley. I grew up around bike scenes. My dad, being a pastor, he did events for the bike gangs all around the Toronto area, and we had a motorcycle track for oval track for flat track racing, which I was into. And at the end of the field was a stage for concerts, and all the outlaw bike gangs from Toronto and Hamilton would come out and hold their events on their property. Police would surround everyone and video everyone, and they had a motocross track there for other events we did in the community. But I got so sick and tired of the attitude of some of the biker community and all that. I just basically when I think I was 23, sold my Harley, and I went to college for mechanical engineering and machinist training, and just said, I turned my back on the whole biker world and just focused on my music, playing in bands and enjoying my firearms and camping. I was sick and tired of this macho attitude and all this drama, and everything has to be a big issue, and death threats in my family and people shooting around our house, and we were carrying guns in the house because we lived in the middle of nowhere and anybody could come through the door anytime. We had people in the house running down the hallway at me. That's where I grew up when I was in my teens.
Yeah.
I was so sick of it. That's why I just turned my back on the whole biker realm.
It sounds like it was the right move for you, and it doesn't make any sense that people will put themselves in those positions and be okay with it and call it life. Don, we are grateful that you joined us today. Before, and we're going to wrap up, but before we do, let folks know where they can find you online. Some websites, social media. Where can they find you on the internets?
Well, if you go on, right now we are a Facebook site. The reason we use Facebook is because that's where most people are communicating. That's where we're trying to keep going, but we're also moving on to other sites off of it. As it stands right now, the easiest way to find the Canadian Firearms Network is to look on Facebook. I don't know if we're listed as a page or a site or what we're there, but we're there. And or just try to look up me.
Looks like you guys are listed as a community.
Yeah, well, we just got. We're all. I don't really know. That's Facebook terminology. But,
I'm not sure. I know page and then place or something. I don't know. Anyway, just all one word, Canadian Firearms Network. Find them on Facebook.
Yeah.
Looks like you have a link to a website too, where people can purchase merchandise and support.
Yeah, we're getting sales set up right now. We're really low on inventory. We sell hoodies, t-shirts, long sleeves. Look at the
beanies.
Can you see the back?
Oh yeah.
There. So the whole shirt's done, but we sell these. We sell these shirts, and our long sleeves have it written down right down the sleeves, and the hoodies too, and all this stuff. We sell that. We got face masks, we got toques, and all that. But we're basically trying to. Our goal, our desire at the Canadian Firearms Network, is to get land. And we want to open up a piece of property where we have a camping area for families, kind of like a campground, like anyone else. most campgrounds say no guns allowed. I want to have a campground where people can jump in the RV with as many guns as they want, drive to our property, and then have another place far off where we can actually go shooting. And that way the families and stuff can do all their stuff at the lake and be in a normal family. And if a guy comes out to shoot 20 bullets for his whole year, he's welcome there. If he's a guy that fires off 20,000 bullets, he's welcome to be there. I want to hold the events. I want to do this thing. So I'm open. Any American people or Canadian or anybody that wants to try to contact me and try to help us get these sort of things going, investing in trying to get our dream seen, I'm well open to it, because I hate gun clubs. I find gun clubs the most boring place to be. And I want to make it so that's more family-oriented event. I want it to make it so it's more entertainment. I do the Toronto Sportsman Show media for about 8 years. I know all the vendors. I see all the different products and all that. But they pay huge money to be on those little things. I want to start bringing more of that into an area where those vendors are appreciated and they're not being screwed over for the amount of money that they have to spend, $800 or $900 or $1,200 for a piece of floor that's 10 feet by 10 feet. And they got to order 6 of those just to have the space for their show. Like, this to me is being robbed of our gun community. The money is going quite often to people who probably don't even like guns. They're just offering the facility. And I want to be the place where everybody's welcome. I want it so every single gun shop can say, hey, buddy, you just bought your first gun and you don't know where to use it. And the guy goes running down some back road and looks around and goes, okay, and then he rushes home. Well, then he ends up in the news for getting busted, or he put a bullet through someone's house because he didn't check his backstop and this sort of thing. I want it so that the gun shops can say, hey, you just got your gun permit, and you got a gun now. Here's a place you can go. You don't need to hit a permit like to be a member like a gun club. You can just go. Everything I'm trying to design is for people that are handicapped, because my dad being in wheelchairs and other friends I used to race motocross with are broken backs. I want to make it so that they can roll up in their wheelchairs, and the whole place is actually designed specifically with our drawings, what we're trying to do right now, for these sort of people, so it can run all year round.
A noble cause, Don.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really awesome.
Thank you for being on the forefront of trying to bring firearms to the masses and make sure that they are they're taken care of. You know, I mean, it's the people who are unable to defend themselves with their physical presence that need these things more than anybody else. But we're going to close out the show.
Yeah,
Don.
we're running out of time, Don.
One more plug, though.
Go ahead.
I'd like to give you just one plug.
Go ahead.
My band has 4 albums. I'm the bass player in it. I play 4, 5, and 6-string bass. My amplifier is as tall as I am, and it's got a big register in my firearms, no white sticker across the top of it. Been playing that gigs for years. We just did 2 videos this year. We got turned into Lego characters. We got 4 albums of original music. If you look us up, look for transistortheband.com. So TRANSISTOR, theband.com, all one word. And you will find us, and we got all kinds of weird videos. You can see us playing live at different places, and you'll see my Pro Gun sign. But we've even got a video called Glimpse where we were shooting whales with harpoon guns, and the whales come back with our missile launchers in the back and blow the crap out of us.
Nice, man. We'll check that out. We'll throw links in the show notes for you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. But anyway.
Thanks.
Yeah, what's up?
You want to take this home?
Oh my! Let me stretch real quick.
Oh man, I bet you're hungry too.
Man, I'm so hungry.
He's getting hangry.
But Don, I really appreciate you joining us. It was a fantastic show. Appreciate all you guys listening and watching to us on the radio, TV, and Facebook. It's been great. We'll be back next week on the Gun Shop Show.
So we're gonna let the outro music play, Don. If you want to
talk about whatever.
How musky is that basement?
Yeah, what you got there?
This is Chinese. This is my Chinese. Look at you. I'm not spending $1,000. $400. Shut up. And this here is all the barrel. Regular gun permit. From what I understand, the permit's not enough. We'll just get a sawed-off shotgun and buy
I was gonna ask you about that during the show.